800-345-2789 or biglou.com.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin. $5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up. I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GAME to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code GAME for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code GAME for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
AZ Preps 365, your source for all the news, info, highlights, and more. Athlete news and interviews. Talk with coaches. Keep you up to date with the changes, moves, upcoming events, and more. AZ Preps 365, Arizona's ultimate prep sports show. If you miss a minute, you miss a lot. AZ Preps 365, Saturday mornings 8 till 10 on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
Everybody's got a podcast these days. Comedy, politics, true crime, you name it. But how many actually teach you anything useful? Harman Solar has an entertaining podcast that is vital if you've been thinking about looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Ralph and Ben explore the intricacies of utilities, equipment, processes, and more. Their primary objective is to educate and empower you to make informed decisions on your solar journey. So increase your knowledge, not your bills. Go check it out right now. It's the Harman Solar Podcast at harmansolar.com.
My name is Mary Grace. There are a few misconceptions about Alzheimer's. It's not just memory loss. It's the loss of mobility, the risk of falling.
For more information, contact the Alzheimer's Association at alz.org. Sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down.
Because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show.
Let's do it.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to a Tuesday edition of the Daily Blender. It is 3 o'clock straight up right over there. That is the sexiest man in sports talk radio. His name is Keon Rose. My name is Randy White. Jeffrey O'Brien on vacation this week. You are the fourth dimension, and you are texting in at 888-368-1580 as the biggest part of the show as we broadcast live from the Harman Solar Studios in beautiful uptown Scottsdale. Lots to talk about today, Keon. We got some college football to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
We got some NFL stuff to talk about. We got some playoff baseball to talk about. Shams Charania making big news today. We'll talk about him. We bid farewell to one of the great pitchers in Boston Red Sox history, and a whole lot more. We've got a truckload of stuff to talk about today here on the Daily Blender. First off, last night, did you watch the game last night?
I did.
Did you like the game last night?
I mean, I did because I learned some things. I learned some things about the Chiefs in particular. They're
all right.
Still really good at football.
Oh, they're very good at football. We'll talk about them coming up in the third hour. Hope you stick around for us. Probably the biggest college football in the weekend of the year coming up with some really big games on tap. But the biggest, I think, Texas versus Oklahoma. We'll talk about if that's the game of the year and what Texas is doing. And other things. We got some injuries to talk about. Whole lots of stuff. First off, you probably did you guys talk about it on Beat the Book, lad? You and Dylan, did you talk about this? Robert Saleh out as Jets head coach.
A little bit. We kind of had to fly a little bit because we had a guest on, but no, we touched on it a little.
Gotta tell you, I mean, this seems odd to me. It seems odd to me. There are reports that are coming out now, and I've been kind of monitoring this all day about Robert Saleh. Apparently, there's a report, and I don't know how true this is, but it was printed and it was on news sources on the interwebs, legitimate news sources, that says one of the reasons why Saleh was out is because he had the Lebanon flag on his shirt or his overshirt or whatever he had on during the Monday night game or the weekend's game, the London, when they were in London. I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't know if that's true either, and what a silly reason to fire somebody.
And there's there's all of the speculation going on that Robert Saleh came in and was moving Nathaniel Hackett from offensive coordinator, demoted him, and then 5 minutes later, Saleh was fired. And we already know Aaron Rodgers, his relationship with Nathaniel Hackett. But we also know that Nathaniel Hackett is not a good head coach. I don't know about offensive coordinator. I think he's a good offensive coordinator because he's had Aaron Rodgers around him.
Yeah, I think that Rodgers just likes him. I don't know that proves that he's good. It just proves that Rodgers likes him.
Seemed like, and when I watched that London game, it seemed like Rodgers came over and was chewing Nathaniel Hackett out a little bit. And Nathaniel was like, "Oh, no." And he kind of just threw his fist like, "Darn, I missed that one." Kind of like.
I mean, you just missed that one for every first quarter of the last 2 seasons of football, did you? Because they get off the bus. Every first quarter looks the same for the Jets. They've got 10 plays. They run them all. None of them work. And then they have to force stuff from the second quarter on just to get back into games. They didn't have to be losing in the first place.
Yeah, well.
I'm not a big Nathaniel Hackett fan. Can you tell?
They have a legitimate defense. They just can't seem to get anything together.
Which is why it's insane that Robert Saleh is the guy that gets fired here, because he's the defensive-minded head coach. I mean, you look at what they did against the Broncos. They lost that game 10-9. Robert Saleh's defense held a team to 10 points.
Yeah.
Offense couldn't score more than 9.
Nathaniel Hackett couldn't break more than 9 points out of the
somehow
game.
Robert Saleh doesn't have a job? That's just crazy to me. I genuinely find this confusing.
So the report I'm going with is the report from Adam Schefter. I think you can pretty much believe whatever Adam Schefter puts in print. And this is what he said. According to his report, Adam Schefter told ESPN and the World that the Jets told Saleh about 10 a.m. Eastern time that he had been released and that he would be escorted out of the building by the head of security. The Jets are 2-3 this season and never had a winning season with Saleh as their head coach.
Which, again, I don't know how much you blame that on Saleh. His second and third seasons as head coach, they were 7-10 both times. His quarterback was Zach Wilson. That's a miracle, actually, that he got 7 wins out of those teams. That was squeezing blood out of a stone because your quarterback couldn't score you points and you somehow won 7 games. How is I don't understand how this is Robert Saleh's fault. He doesn't call the offense.
I mean, so he's ultimately responsible, right? I mean, he's the guy in command.
Correct.
Right?
But if you think that this is his fault, you need to tell me why it is that firing him is going to make this better. This doesn't make it better. And do you know how many teams in the Super Bowl era, do you know how many teams have fired a head coach before week 6 of an NFL season and made it to the playoffs? Exactly 1. It's happened 27 times, and Rich Bisaccia a few years ago is the only guy to make the playoffs.
Well, I mean, Woody Johnson hasn't replaced the head coach during the season since 2001. Put that in your pipe and smoke it for a minute.
I mean, if you think that Robert Saleh is ultimately responsible, I need you to tell me what he could have done to have gotten the Jets to play any better than they did. I mean, it's just.
Did you see the London game? Did you watch?
I did see the London game.
Did you see that awkward moment when Aaron is coming off the field and Salah goes to hug Aaron and Aaron pushes him away?
Yeah.
I feel like this is a Aaron Rodgers plan here.
I 100% believe that. I 100% believe that. Robert Saleh's biggest crime wasn't being a bad coach. It was not kissing Aaron Rodgers' ass the way everyone else in that building was.
There it is.
Because remember when he had that unexcused absence this offseason? You know, Aaron Rodgers, who through the first 5 weeks of the season has scored the same as Zach Wilson did last year through the first 5 weeks of the season. The same amount of points for both Aaron Rodgers and Zach Wilson. So while you're letting that sink in, and Robert Saleh was saying, hey, he didn't mention Rodgers by name, but he said a lot of guys in this building are not sold out for this organization. And I believe he was talking about Rodgers, because who the hell else could he be talking about?
Well, there were other published reports. I did not gather all of the hearsay and you know, the columnists that put out clickbait, if you will. I just went with the straight ahead news report that Salah was fired. And I read the article, and Woody Johnson's release was in there. You know, here's Woody Johnson's release. This is a statement from the desk of Woody Johnson, owner of the Jets. This morning, I informed Robert Saleh that he will no longer serve as the head coach of the Jets. I thanked him for his hard work these past 3.5 years and wish him and his family well moving forward. This was not an easy decision, but we were not where we should be given our expectations, and I believe now's the best time for us to move in a different direction. Really? Jeff Ulbrich will serve as our interim head coach for the remainder of the season. He is a tough coach who has the respect of the coaches and players on this team. I believe he, along with the coaches of this staff, can get the most out of our talented team and attain the goals we established in the offseason.
Woody, your quarterback's 40. He's 40. Do you think that an interim head coach is taking you to a Super Bowl? Because the time is about to run out on your quarterback's entire career. He's 40. I just do not understand this. This is the Jets. This is just what they do. This is what they're like. This is why they will not win things, because this is how they operate. I don't get it. If you fire a guy in the middle of the season, it better be because you think that your team is getting better. The expectations they have, the quarterback they have, the only thing that you fire Robert Saleh for is if you think this is a Super Bowl team and he's the reason why it's not reaching that level. And I don't see that when I watch the Jets play football. And what about the guy that put the team together? I find that interesting. The guy that constructed the entire team. What about him?
There's no words on that one.
Yeah, it's funny. He still has an office. Interesting.
And he still has a key card to get into the building.
He's the one that gave up all the assets to get Rodgers. He's the one that drafted Zach Wilson, by the way. Bust. That's all him.
888-368-1580 is the text line. We're talking Robert Saleh and his untimely departure from the New York Jets. He came. So Saleh was completely and totally blindsided, according to Jay Glazer from the X. He was blindsided by Woody Johnson walking into his office and letting him go. Dude, that is, I mean, okay, at least he walked into Saleh's office.
Yeah, it's true. Robert Saleh didn't find out while watching ESPN that he no longer had a job.
Right.
So that's nice, I guess.
Yeah, so he had the stones to go into Robert's office, to coach's office, closing the door, and said, we need to have a talk.
Turn in your playbook.
It wasn't like, hey, come to the owner's office and bring your playbook. Other people said that Saleh wanted to just demote Nathaniel Hackett, which you have Aaron Rodgers on the team. You're not going to demote one of his buddies.
Which, yeah, I guess Robert Saleh learned who had the pants in that relationship, because The offense isn't working. Like, I think we can all see what's happening with the Jets. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
What else is Robert Salah supposed to do but to say, hey, let's get somebody else, another voice in that offensive room, and see if we can come up with something more. But Aaron Rodgers doesn't like change very much, and you're going to go after his guy. You get got.
It's it's something that, that's kind of mind-boggling, but it's happened, and so he's gone. But who's Jeff Ulbrich? I've heard a little bit of him. He's the DC for the Jets. He's the guy that constructed, or he didn't construct it, but he puts together the plans for that the Jets defense, which I don't know is that they're as good as last year, but I think they're good. I think last year they were a bit more. What's the word I'm looking for? They were a bit more scary. It seems to me.
They were a little bit more shut down last year, where it was you were a little bit more confident that the Jets played a team.
Right.
They weren't going to score very many points. And this, I think they're still a good defense, but they give up more explosive plays, I think, this season than they did a year ago.
So who is Jeff Ulbrich? Let's find out who he is before we go to break here and take some text from the fourth dimension. In February, Ulbrich was the head coach of the national team at the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. He led the team to 16-7 win over the American team. Participated in the Senior Bowl when he was coming out as a linebacker from the University of Hawaii in 2000, stating it played a huge role in him getting drafted that spring. He played 9 seasons in the NFL. He was selected originally by the San Francisco 49ers, 86th overall in the 3rd round in the 2000 draft. Played 120 games, recorded 501 tackles, 32 tackles for losses, 5.5 sacks, and 2 interceptions while in San Francisco. A year after he retired due to the effects of a concussion he suffered in 2009, Ulbrich began his coaching tenure in 2010 with the Seattle Sea Chickens, where he was an assistant special teams coordinator for 2 seasons. And then he went on to be a linebackers coach and special teams coordinator for UCLA. He returned to the NFL as the Falcons linebackers coach, promoted to assistant head coach and linebackers coach in 2020. Also named defensive coordinator by then interim head coach Raheem Morris for Atlanta during the middle of the 2020 season. Made his way to the Jets as he was hired as their defensive coordinator as a member of the now former head coach Robert Salah's staff. So that's Jeff Ulbrich. Why not put Nathaniel Hackett in there as the interim head coach?
Well, I think we all know why you can't do that. You can't have Nathaniel Hackett get exposed like that. If this team doesn't turn around and it's Nathaniel Hackett's fault, it's very obvious that you fired the wrong guy.
But I mean, now you're burning your defensive coordinator. He's now going to be the interim head coach. Does the defense suffer because of his move to the interim head coach role?
I mean, probably not.
I think it does.
It depends on what happens. Like, was he calling the plays before? If it was Salah calling the plays before, then not really. He could just pass that, that responsibility on to somebody else who would be promoted, or he could call it himself. And then at that point, if he's got to now focus on the other head coaching stuff, then yeah, that does affect his ability to coach as well. So like it could go either way. It just depends on whether or not he had that responsibility to begin with, which I don't know off the top of my head.
I mean, personally, I think he was calling the plays. I mean, I didn't see Salah on the sidelines with a placard or anything. It seemed like he was a guy that, Salah was just, the head coach. He was the captain steering the ship. But his coordinators would call the plays.
Yeah, so it could affect the defense, but you probably you just promote the next guy up. And I don't know if you hand those responsibilities of play calling to that person or you keep them as an interim head coach. I would recommend that you don't do that. I think you should delegate because you're going to have your hands full.
Yeah. 888-368-1580. Big George on the text line says, "Hello, gentlemen. Happy Tuesday. Glad to hear you guys today." Well. This is George being completely off topic here. The New York Yankees lost to the Kansas City Royals yesterday. Every series is tied up at one game apiece. This is why playoff baseball is so much fun. Anybody can beat any team, regardless of payroll. Go Padres. Beat the Dodgers. But Georgia, we'll talk about that later. And yes, this is why this time of year is fun. Donnie chiming in. The 2024 Minnesota Vikings, 5 wins, no losses. Coaches fired 1. What? Who got fired from the Vikings? I don't think anybody got fired from the Vikings, did they?
Not that I'm aware of.
Bullseye says the notion that Salah was fired for wearing the Lebanese flag on his jacket at Sunday's game is ludicrous.
In large part because the NFL's been allowing guys to wear, their home country flags on them.
Is that his home country? Is he Lebanese?
I don't know, but I know like Bill Belichick had a Polish flag when he did the international game because his family's Polish.
He was fired for being a poor coach and having a 20-36 record as the head coach. He never had a winning season in New York. He deserved to be fired.
That I'll disagree with. He got fired for coaching reasons, not for the flag. I just don't think that flag played a factor in this at all. But he never had a winning season as head coach. If you look at his quarterbacks, I would like you to compile the list of coaches who could have a winning season with those quarterbacks. You've got to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me. 7-10 record with Zach Wilson as your quarterback. We should make you just you're in the conversation of just fantastic head coach at that point. We never gave you a good quarterback. And then when we did, he was Aaron Rodgers and he tried to take over your entire team and we're going to blame you? Come on. Coach, whether or not a guy is good at coaching has more to do than just record. Zach Wilson was his quarterback for 2 years.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Old Box Springs Wilson.
Yeah, he was there trying to figure out how to get to his best friend's mom's pants. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, the Cougar Tamer.
Where's Zach Wilson right now? Where's Zach? What's he doing?
I don't know where he's at. Is he?
He's in Denver doing nothing.
That's right.
Third on a depth chart doing absolutely nothing. And that's what Robert Salah had to go out with as a starter. But yeah, it was Robert Salah's fault. He was just a bad coach.
To be fair, Aaron Rodgers did blow his Achilles up 4 plays into last season.
Is that also Robert's fault? Maybe Robert went out there and then stuck his leg out and tripped him too.
That's not.
Come on.
But I mean,
if you want to say he's a bad coach, fine. But don't just throw the record out there like that explains everything. It doesn't explain a damn thing because I saw his quarterbacks. They're bad. What are we talking about?
I think we better take a break and let the steam subside from Keon. When we come back, more of your text on the text line at 888-368-1580. And we'll keep talking more from today's headlines. It's the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Get insights into the sports betting market with VSiN's betting splits. See where the money is and keep updated on how the market is reacting. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
NFL week number 6, the Arizona Cardinals head to Lambeau Field where they'll take on the Green Bay Packers. Arizona 4th in the NFL in rushing, and they're coming off a road win against San Francisco. They sit at 2-3 on the season. The Packers at 3-2. Arizona is a 5-point road underdog at Lambeau Field, plus 195 on the money line. The Packers are minus 230 with the over-under at 49.5, both the over-under minus 110. Thursday night football to start week 6. Seattle home to face San Francisco. The Seahawks a 3.5-point home underdog. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pegol is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8695. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8695. That's 800-575-8695. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Hey, football fans, Michael Vick here. They say I transformed the quarterback position. The fastest ever, the strongest arm, the most rushing yards. They call me a game changer. I say BetUS.com changed the sports betting game. It started 30 years ago with the industry's biggest bonuses, and they haven't stopped. This football season, get a 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. Join me at BetUS Online Sportsbook and Casino, BetUS, where the game begins.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here, host of You Better You Bet, reminding you to check out the show. Now, why should you check out You Better You Bet? Because we bring you the most fun. We bring you the most insightful, the most entertaining show in the wagertainment world. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come alongside them. Plus, you'll get the best betting analysis anywhere from myself, Ken Barkley, and some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. So tune in weekdays, noon to 3 on Arizona Sports Betting Station, 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
It is the Daily Blender on this Tuesday, October 8th. And we are working our way till 6 o'clock tonight. Full show tonight, tomorrow. And then Thursday, it is a short show. We've got Thursday Night Football. All the primetime NFL games, Monday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, some Sunday morning action as well. They all play here live from the Westwood One. We also are your home for the divisional playoffs, the wild card games, the championship games, and Super Bowl 59 coming to you live from Caesars Superdome in New Orleans this year. So we are your place for football, NFL football action. We were just talking about Aaron Rodgers, and we were talking about Salah, Robert Salah getting the axe today. Pickle D says, there it is. A-Rod liked him because his brains are mush. Okay.
You're going to have to explain what you mean by that.
Do you mean Nathaniel Hackett? Is there an ice cream truck outside my house?
I mean, I can't hear it, but if you hear it, probably.
Here, see if you can hear in the minute.
That is very much an ice cream truck. Yeah.
That's an ice cream truck, isn't it?
I
should run out and get some ice cream.
With temperatures like this, yes. Yes. Yes, you should.
But never fear, folks. It's going to go away. Maybe we'll do a weather report. I don't know. Later on. Sun Devil Raul says, I'm quarter Lebanese. Well, see? Well, there you go. I mean, there's people from all around the world. They watch the football. That's the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard, that Robert Salah was fired because of the Lebanese flag on his jacket or sweatshirt or whatever he wore. Keon explained it. I mean, the NFL has been encouraging players to recognize their roots. I saw a Jamaican flag on a helmet this weekend.
Especially when it comes to the international games, they really push that. Yeah.
And they were in London. So let's see here. Seabass at 888-368-1580 says, hey, if you're in Florida right now, get the hell out. Milton is coming. It's bringing 12 to 15 foot storm surges that'll kill people. That's like a 4 Danny DeVito stacked on top of each other. Get out now. Over. Thank you, Seabass. If you don't know what that is, there's another hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico that's heading for Tampa Bay. It's bearing down on Tampa Bay.
Looks like a massive hurricane, by the way.
Just before airtime, they had reclassified it as a what's a severe one? A Category 5.
Yeesh.
Let's see. The 8626 he says, I turn on the show. I hear Keon talking about Robert Salah's pants. Keon, if you want, I'm sure Robert Salah will take his pants off for you.
You can go back and listen to what I said.
Wait a minute, pants.
I was saying Rodgers wears the pants in that relationship, and Robert Salah found out. I don't know how you managed to hear anything about Robert Salah's pants, but I won't insult you. Thanks for listening.
8626. You need a texter name, and I can't read any more of your stuff. 8626. Until you give yourself a texter nickname, and if you need help, we will assist you. I have created a list, or if you tell us a little about yourself, we will, Keon and I we will do our best to come up with a texter nickname for you. 8626. You know who I'm talking to. The Marauding Moose says, this is just Randall Cobb. This just in, Randall Cobb is the Jets defensive coordinator. Sources trust me, bro.
Trust me, bro. I mean, with some of the reports that are flying out there that are just so ridiculous, maybe we should just trust you, because
Big George says, I think what Donnie means is the Vikings got Salah fired, so one head coach fired so far. Oh, you mean because the Vikings are 5-0?
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Because here's Donnie right on cue. Yeah, we got Salah out of there thanks to the number one defense in the league.
Robert Salah's quarterback got him out of there. His quarterback and his giant ego and his incompetent offensive coordinator that's also his boy. That's what got Salah out of there. The Vikings just helped.
Walter Mellon says Zach Wilson is hunting cougars now in Denver.
Well, he's not starting at quarterback. He's got plenty of time.
No, he's the number 3 guy, right? I mean, Does he even dress out for the games? Or does he just wear like slacks and a team shirt, on the sidelines and looks busy?
Yeah, wear the headset and the clipboard and
while he scans the crowd for his next victim. Just saying. Bullseye says, Keon, fair or unfair, coaches are fired for the quarterbacks they bring in. Didn't Salah draft Zach Wilson? He gets the blame for that.
No, he did not draft Zach Wilson, because fair or unfair, quarterbacks are not drafted by coaches. They're drafted by general managers. A man I noticed, by the way, who still has a job, since if we're going to be fair about it, Joe Douglas was the man who drafted Zach Wilson. I think his office still has all of his stuff in it. So no is the answer to your question. The guy who actually drafted Zach Wilson and then got to trade Zach Wilson as though he didn't draft Zach Wilson is still employed by the very stupid and poorly run New York Jets.
T-Licious says, Salah's free from the circus. Hope he comes back to the Niners to be our DC. or as a consultant to help our struggling defense. F the Jets and that whiny biatch QB they have. Go Niners. Cecil agrees with you, T-Licious. That's my dog, Cecil.
Hey, man, that Niners defense, when Salah was there, that was humming.
That
was humming.
Pickle D says the new coach that retired because of head injury. Yeah, I know. I thought the same thing.
Listen, if things don't look better in New York, this is not a great look.
Baker's cocky hens. This is funny. He said a GIF. And it's from the Office Space, the movie, and it's that guy that was still working there with the glasses. And I just wanted my stapler.
Just wanted my stapler.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's him.
my stapler. That's my stapler.
The 4108. Now wait a minute. There's another guy here that needs. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, you started texting, it looks like October 2nd. So the 4108 it says, I will say LaFleur 1-2 with Malik. 1-2 what?
Oh, LaFleur in Green Bay won a couple of games with Malik Willis. Okay. And did he have to coach the entire season with Malik? Because Robert Salah won 7 games with Zach Wilson. Actually, more than 7, but for just give him the one season that he actually had to coach him, he did win 7 of them.
Now I'm scrolling back here because I have to. I've got one of these. I think it's the. Oh, he's from France. He's from France. I have to. How do you do this again? Oh, here we go. Translate to English.
Oh, we're doing more French. We're doing more
Hello,
French.
Mr. White and Mr. Pink. It's been a long time since I spoke. I went on vacation to France last month and lost my phone in France. I came back to Montreal with a new phone and a new leash on life. I've heard they're a little kinky in France. Today is NHL opening day. Kraken are currently losing 3-2 to the Blues. Well, I mean, we can only hope.
I'm very suspicious of many international texts that we get, but
I'm hoping this is Pierre because it's a completely different number.
Which makes me more suspicious, not less. But that's just me. That's just
the
me.
1280. Apparently, he was in France wearing a leash, and in some wild debauchery, lost his phone while in France. Yeah, Identify yourself, sir.
The word rose in French means rose, means pink. So I think that's why I translated that.
Been a long time since I spoke.
Mr. Pink. I was like, man, Reservoir Dogs. What's going on?
What? I went on vacation to France last month. So you've been in France for a month? Came back to Montreal with a new lease on life. It's got to be lease because he put leash on life. Bad news for the Cardinals today. Arizona Cardinals have a interior lineman, Will Hernandez. He's got a season-ending knee injury. He hurt his knee against San Francisco this past weekend. The Cardinals do have a couple of young guys to start, but they're going to have to use Tristan Colon, who replaced him on Sunday. And I'm in that last update that we had last break. They were talking about how the Cardinals are 5th in the league in rushing. Have a feeling that's about to change. I hope that Cologne comes in and helps that interior line for the Cardinals.
Now, the optimistic view of this is that the Cardinals run a lot and linemen prefer run blocking to pass protection. So maybe it doesn't have to change because, you're doing something that you actually like to do when you're in there, as opposed to if you were in the Lions offense, for instance, and they're going to throw the ball a bunch. Now you have to go into pass protection. It's tougher for a variety of reasons. Maybe this doesn't change too much.
Maybe not, but they have two rookie or two youngsters behind Tristan Colon there. Rookie Isaiah Adams, one of their third-round picks, and John Gaines, the second, who was selected in last year's draft in the fourth. These are guys that the team they're high on both of these guys, saying they both have high ceilings, but right now they're just too inexperienced and they need to win games right now, I'll say. Anyway, good luck to you, Will Hernandez. And I hope he comes back better than ever, man. Boy, that's tough. That is painful.
That is
painful. All right. So the Patriots, also in breaking news today, the Patriots have moved to their rookie quarterback, Drake May, ahead of a game, their next game against Houston.
I don't understand.
Welcome to the NFL, youngster. Strap your pads on. You'll be taking on Houston.
I thought I was praising them for not playing Drake May because their offensive line is Swiss cheese, and they're protecting him. They're keeping him safe from basically the hits that are going to basically take him out this season. I think it's going to be hard on him to go in there and have to win behind an offensive line where, you're trying to figure out as a rookie, what am I looking at? What is the defense trying to show me? What different looks are they trying to deceive me with? You're trying to figure that stuff out, and you drop back and you've got maybe a second to throw the football. I don't like this at all for the Patriots. And it's not because I don't think Drake May can play. It's that I actually like that they were protecting him until they could build up that offensive line a little bit more. And now it feels like they're throwing him to the wolves, and best of luck to him. But boy, that's a tall order to go up against D'Amico Ryan's defense and say, hey, go out there and handle Danielle Hunter and oh boy, Will Anderson. Look, man, this could be, and you're going to throw passes and try and get the ball through past who? Derek Stingley. This is bad. I think this could be bad.
Apparently, the Patriots are doing whatever they can to stop this free fall. I have a feeling this may have come from Mr. Kraft, from his office, but it remains to be seen. Patriots taking on Houston this weekend, and we'll see how Drake May does behind that Swiss cheese offensive line. We'll talk more NFL football and other stuff on the Daily Blender after this break here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Hey, sports bettors, Jeffrey O'Brien here to tell you about my favorite sportsbook and casino, and that is BetUS.com. Football's back, so it's time to get in on the action. I endorse one sportsbook and casino, and that is BetUS. If you want a game plan to win this season, then check out BetUS. BetUS went large for you this season with a huge offer, a 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. That's right, a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits. BetUS offers value other sportsbooks simply don't offer. Gamblers insurance, crypto bonuses, and casino bonuses. Plus, they have all the products you need. Competitive odds, parlays, live betting, odds boosts, and prop betting. When you're ready to lay down your bet, give your bet an edge. Why not combine your sign-up bonus with knowledge? Get that knowledge with expert analysis, picks, and predictions on all major sports on their very own BetUS TV. Get started today at BetUS.com or give them a call at 1-800-MyBetUS. BetUS, where the game begins. Hi, guys. Jeffrey O'Brien here. Have you ever gone to HarmonSolar.com? Well, you really need to, because everything you ever wanted to know about how solar power can save you big on your monthly electric bill is right there. It's online. Through your phone or through your computer, you can learn about tax credits, the equipment they use, look at how they do things for businesses as well as homeowners, see testimonials from happy customers, and I hear they got a pretty good podcast, too. Check it out. Go to HarmonSolar.com. That's HarmonSolar.com.
Now open in Scottsdale. It's United Forte Custom Door Showroom with 40,000 Euro doors and hundreds of state-of-the-art designs and finishes on display, plus kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, and more, all at wholesale prices. Builders, contractors, designers, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Forte, P-O-R-T-E. Stop by to see and feel the quality. United Forte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's UPORTE.com.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pegol is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Download our free sports app and stay up with all the latest sports news, scores, highlights, and more. Or stream us live anywhere at 1580thefanatic.com. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, Arizona's home for sports.
It is the third segment of Hour 1 on the Daily Blender here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. The text line humming along here as we keep getting more and more text. The 8626 says, I'm all for getting a texter nickname. Just don't want to call myself Salty Senorita. I like the Cardinals, Diamondbacks, Suns, and ASU. Did somebody name you the Salty Senorita?
Nobody suggested that.
Are you indeed a senorita? Or as the married folks call them, senora? Gonna have to answer that question too. Tiger Paws, speaking of senora, says Milton is such a bad hurricane. It went from Cat 2 to Cat 5 in only 18 hours. And the meteorologist was trying to report on its progression yesterday, literally started crying on air.
Oh my God. That can't be true.
What? There's no crying in weather.
It's like baseball that way.
Was it one of the girls?
There's no crying in baseball.
The girl meteorologist. Average Joe says Breece Hall was a top running back last year without Rodgers. Now that Rodgers is there, he's actually worse and getting hit 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage. It's all in Rodgers and the GM.
Yes, and that's the reason why it's hilarious, because those seem to be the two people that are being listened to in the building. That's the part that's crazy. Breece Hall, his yards before contact is in the negatives. He's the lowest in the league. He doesn't even get to get to the line of scrimmage before people are hitting him. That's insane.
I thought when you translated stuff, it stayed translated.
I don't know.
Yes, it's me, Pierre, back in black.
Oh.
Still in Canadians fan, Montreal Alouettes fan. Randy is still pitching your show bus idea. It's snow bus. And Montreal School Board, no luck so far. I came up with a great idea, snow bus, to eliminate snow days and get the kids to school. I mean, let's face it. The American education system we need to toughen up a little, please. And all these snow days. Mommy and Daddy can't get me to school. There's too much snow. I say snow bus. All right, just hear me out. You get buses that are part snowplow, part school bus. Snow day solved. I'm just saying. The 4108 says fair point. Fair point about LaFleur winning 2 with Malik. I think 4108 is listening to a different show.
Well, no, because he mentioned that Malik LaFleur won 2 with Malik, and I was saying he had to win just 2. Salah had to coach with a variety of quarterbacks. Most of those starts were Zach Wilson, and he had to do it over 2 years. Do I think that LaFleur, as good as a coach as I think he is, do I think that he could do that for 2 years and have the same result that he does when he's got Jordan Love out there? Of course not. It matters who your quarterback is in this league, and we all know it.
Let's see here. Niner Annapolis says, a little late, Randy, on this, but I'd like to reach over the airwaves and shake your hand and say, good game, and show you guys that there is a percentage of Niner faithful that come with no douchebaggery. I will give credit where credit's due. James Conner finished that game. It was very impressive. And although blowing a 13-point lead yet again hurts, and many factors contributed to that terrible loss, Niners better figure out how to close these games out. Niner Annapolis, thank you. You did this yesterday, you know. I don't know, because you have the same text here from yesterday. But thank you once again. 8626. No, it was a male meteorologist that was crying on the air over Milton. Us women can keep it together in times of crisis. Holy cow. 8626 is a senorita. Are you a senora or a senorita? Senorita is like more of the miss. And senora is Mrs. I'm just saying. And by the way, Pierre, good to have you back on the line here. CK says, leash guy sounds like a big George burner phone. I don't think so. Maybe. Now last winter, when all the snow birds were here, we picked up like 3 Canadian listeners. And Pierre was one of them. So it wasn't another one like the Brunswick guy?
So, yeah, Brunswick guy, and there was some other dude. I don't remember.
Well, we had like 3 or 4 guys, right? That had been texting in and listening.
3 or 4 Canadians for a while.
Pierre seems to be the only one that's been long lasting.
I am suspicious about how real some of those were, but you know.
Sun Devil Raul says, "Are the Jets going to pick up the hoodie?"
No,
I would say yes, but
I mean, maybe if you're why?
Well, he lives in New England, right?
All right. I'm just saying Bill Belichick notoriously had a falling out with a Hall of Fame quarterback near the end of his career. Bill Belichick's going to come back and try and deal with Aaron Rodgers?
I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to be there.
I don't know.
I think he wraps it up.
This is it.
I think this is his swan song right here.
Because this season's going to end poorly, and I don't know if his ego will allow that.
He only signed a 2-year deal, right?
He did. I think the Jets will keep him as long as he's willing to stay. Clearly, they're making decisions with him in mind.
Moist one on the text line at 888-368-1580. Kraken making me angry. Look like the much better team for 30 minutes, then give up one power play and it's all falls apart. Yeah. It's only game 1, though, Moist one. It's only game 1. Happy opening NHL day to you. Bruno Baller, does Keon know when college football start its playoff standings? You know, it's funny you mention that. It's not official, but we have playoff standings, right? We're going to talk about on the air today, but please, Keon, please answer the question.
I actually don't know that off the top of my head.
When do they start the playoff standings?
I'll have to check that. I just like the season. You know, I've been pretty clear about how I feel about the expansion of the playoff, and I'm not the biggest fan of it. The playoff is not what I watch college football for. It's never what I watch college football for. I like college football. I like the rivalries. I like the big games. So I can look that up for you, but I don't know that off the top of my head because it's not my main priority when I watch college football. And it's hard to flip that switch because I don't watch college football and the NFL for the same reasons. I worry about the playoffs all the time when I watch NFL. I don't really worry about the playoff that much in college football because the football is compelling enough, if you can believe it.
602 Pats fan says, yeah, I don't get it either, Keon.
It's odd. The decisions that they're making for the quarterback who is 40 years old, who may not come back next year because he's 40 years old. So you're firing people. The quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, wants his guy, Nathaniel Hackett, to still call plays. I think that's why Salo got fired because he tried to demote him. And that's just a non-starter with Rodgers. And that will apparently, in New York, cost you your job. Never mind that since Rodgers has been the starting quarterback, Breece Hall and his production have fallen off of a cliff. I looked it up, actually. He has 1 yard before contact, which is 90th in the league. It puts him in the bottom 5 of running backs. His yards after contact, though, which is all the work he does once a player actually hits him, he's got 131 yards after contact, which puts him in the top 20 in the league. So it's not his fault that the production's down.
888-368-1580. That is the text line. Was watching Coach Tomlin on the TV, and I call him Coach Tomlin because I have mad respect for the Steelers head coach.
Me too.
Mike Tomlin is he is a man's man, and I wish the Cardinals had Mike Tomlin as their head coach. But he announced today that the door is ajar for Russ Wilson. He's going to be a full participant in practice starting tomorrow in anticipation of a Week 6 matchup against the Raiders, which that might be a way to get Tomlin involved. I mean, Russ Wilson involved in this offense. He hasn't been there since tweaking a calf in the preseason.
Preseason, yeah.
And, we're now going into week. Is it already week 6?
It's already week 6. It flies by.
We're a third of the way through this season.
And I do think that, Justin Fields has been good. And I don't want to make it seem like he's not a player who's been part of what the Steelers have been able to do this year. They're 3-2. And a large part of that is Justin Fields taking care of the football, running when he needs to. He's not putting it in harm's way, but there is a clear and obvious ceiling as to how far you can go with Justin Fields playing like this. And maybe one day you take the training wheels off and let him rip it. But I think it's worth looking into to see if Russell Wilson can give you more explosive plays, because without those, that game against Dallas, that was an ugly game that the Steelers could have won, but Justin maybe wasn't the guy to take him over the top.
Well, they got off to a 3-0 start. They've dropped the last 2 games. So maybe having Russ Wilson there, maybe you insert him if the game gets away from, from the Steelers against the Raiders. I can't see that happening.
I can't see it either because of how bad the Raiders have been.
Really good night. They just don't have anything happening for them. They're trying.
You can run right through the middle of that defense. In fact, you should, because then you just take Max Crosby out of the equation entirely. He's trying to get to you off the edge. You just run right through the middle. There's not a whole lot there.
Yeah.
That's going to offer any resistance to you.
Well, anyway, we'll have to wait and see when the Steelers take on Oakland this weekend, or Las Vegas. I keep referring to them as there you go, Oaktown Destroyer. I think the Steelers could be looking at maybe a mid-season or third of season, 2/3. I don't know how to put it. Quarterback controversy starting up here with the emergence of Danger Russ Wilson on the scene. All right, that's 1 hour down. We've got 2 more to go and a whole lot to talk about. There's last night's game. Shams Charania has replaced the Woj at the 4-letter network. We'll talk about that next on the Daily Blender here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
The Fanatic is your home for fall football. Catch the NFL and NCAA live games on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Brought to you by Bet365. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
4 years. That's how long it took Democrats to ruin our economy and plunge our southern border into anarchy. Who helped them hurt us? Ruben Gallego. Washington could have cut taxes for Arizona families, but Ruben blocked the bill. And his fellow Democrats gave a bigger break to the millionaire class in California and New York. They played favorites and cost us billions. And Ruben wasn't done yet. Democrats could have secured the border. Instead, they invited an invasion and used our tax dollars to pay for it. Ruben Gallego even backed the law to let them vote in our elections. Don't give Gallego and the Democrats another 4 years to hurt us. Give your support to a real Arizona leader, Kari Lake. Kari and the Republicans will secure the border, support our families, and never turn their backs on us. Kari Lake for Senate.
I'm Kari Lake, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Kari Lake for Senate and the NRSC.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pegol is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
My name is Mary Grace. There are a few misconceptions about Alzheimer's. It's not just memory loss. It's the loss of mobility, the risk of falling.
For more information, contact the Alzheimer's Association at alz.org. Sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association.
We're completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
For your teen's music taste.
For dinners where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down.
Because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show.
Let's do it.
Welcome, everybody, to hour number 2 of the Daily Blender on this October the 8th, Taco Tuesday. As we broadcast live from the palatial estates of the Harmon Solar Studios in Uptown Scottsdale. Right over there, the sexiest man in sports talk radio. That's Keon Rose. I'm your humble servant here on the radio. My name is Randy White. Jeffrey O'Brien is out, and I hope he returns next week or sometime. You are the fourth dimension, texting in at 888-368-1580. We've been talking quite a bit of breaking news. Well, not breaking news, but, new news that has happened throughout the day. Danger Russ Wilson will be a full participant at Steeler practice this week is what we were talking about. However, Justin Fields still taking the first team snaps. Robert Saleh out as Jets head coach, and he has been replaced by Jeff Ulbrich, who was the defensive coordinator, now the interim head coach of the New York Jets. And the Patriots will be starting their rookie quarterback, Drake May, ahead of the game against Houston. Welcome to the NFL, kid. Make sure your helmet's on tight. One of the other stories that I saw today, according to USA Today, Shams Charania is replacing his mentor at the Four Letter Network. You might recall that Adrian Wojnarowski, I think I said that right for the first time.
I think
Let that sink in for a sec. I think I said that correctly. I mean, isn't it sad you have a name like that, and everybody probably kills it.
Just well, that's why we call him Woj.
Wojciechowicz? Or were you on Barney Miller? No, I'm Adrian Wojnarowski. Anyway, ESPN is replacing the NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski with Shams Charania. The four-letter network announced on yesterday. Of course, you might recall that Woj is heading for I forget what school it was. He's going to some school. Oh, yeah, general manager of the men's basketball at his alma mater, St. Bonaventure. Charania, who worked for The Athletic and FanDuel TV, was immediately considered a leading candidate to take over Woj's role at ESPN.
I mean, what a better person for the job there,
right? I mean, there are a few people that I could say, without a doubt, you can trust if he puts something in print. It's Shams Charania. He goes through all the steps to make sure that what he puts out is accurate and true. And I can't believe he's only 30 years old.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very, very rapid ascent for him. But he's good, man. Like, he's good. He seems to always be where the stories are. He gets there first, to the point where, you know, him and Woj had some disagreements over who was getting the story first in certain situations, and it got pretty intense this last summer during a lot of the free agent movement and all of that. You know, the two of them battling to get the news out there. And I did not expect that to be one of the stories of the summer. It was a pretty big story there for a couple of days anyway.
Well, anyway, that's happening. ESPN is hiring Shams Charania, so hopefully they get some credibility. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, after about firing 16 and a half reporters, adding one back isn't bad. It's not bad at all.
No kidding. They're so thin at the TV slot that they're starting to use the writers from their magazine. They're terrible ESPN the magazine starting to use those guys as reporters on the TV side. All right, 888-368-1580. It's our text line. I've got a bunch of them on here. So Average Joe says, so the ex-Coyotes have their first game today in like an hour, and they're taking on the Blackhawks. Yeah. Yeah, Average Joe, that's right. I don't think this was Average Joe, because I think this is Sun Devil Raul that the text line has just done that wonky thing now.
It happens from time to time. It'll just move around, and then
it's funny because
find it again.
You know what the interface looks like. On one side of it, it's got names and just sort of a thumbnail of what the text is. Then you have to open it to see the whole text. And a minute ago, it said Average Joe over on the left, and then when I clicked on it, a bat flipper was at the top. I don't know.
Yeah, it jumps around a little bit, especially during this show, because then the text start rolling in, and it's all over the place.
Bat Flipper says Rodgers was worth it 5 years ago. Salah was a good head coach, just couldn't find the right OC or quarterback. I would agree with that.
I would agree with that too. And unfortunately, once they decided to make the move for Rodgers, I don't think that you have control over who that offensive coordinator is anymore, because Rodgers wants his guy.
Average Joe, this is the real Average Joe now, says, did you say you're broadcasting from the Palacio Estates? Where is that exactly? No, I said palatial. I did not say fellatio.
How did you hear that? Why is your mind there?
Well,
it's
the fourth dimension. Come on, Keith.
The gutter. Get your mind out of it.
Bruno Baller, since the early 70s, the Steelers have had only 3 head coaches. That's true.
Isn't that wild?
That's true.
Was it Noel, Cowher, and Tomlin?
You never you rarely hear about the GM of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Rarely. You rarely hear about the ownership or the president of the Steelers. But then there are teams that you hear about them almost on a daily basis. Hashtag Dallas Cowboys. Hashtag Arizona Cardinals. Moist One says, we're all Big George, CK. You're part of a social experiment.
Are we all Spartacus too? Is that what's happening here?
Boy, if you were Big George, if you had that kind of 7-foot frame, man, what could you do? I mean, you're like a basketball guy, 7 feet tall. Are you kidding me?
I'd be back to the basket king. 7
feet
tall.
Nobody's coming in my area.
Be the second coming of Mutombo. That's what I'd be.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Chosen One says, good afternoon, gentlemen. Was out yesterday and missed the show. How about those Vikings 5-0, baby? Cardinals had a surprising upset. Congrats, Randy. Washington continues to be impressive, and congrats, Keon. Oh, and the Cowboys upsetting the Steelers, and I went 3-0 in my fantasy leagues. Great football weekend.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the weekend, Chosen One. I mean, I almost could not contain myself. ASU won over Kansas, which it wasn't because Kansas was this big rival or anything, but it was the way the game was played and how it played out. And Kansas was on their way to beating ASU, and ASU and Sam Levitt came back and stole that game. They stole victory from the jaws of defeat at the Inferno in Tempe. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, it's got a ring to it. It does have a ring to it.
And then the Seahawks lost
to the Giants.
To the Giants.
To the New York Football Giants.
I'm sorry about that. And the Dodgers lost 10-2.
Yeah, you just had a great weekend.
How good does it get? Sorry. USC lost. I mean, did it get any better? Thank you.
To Minnesota, by the way. Those awful
Golden Gophers.
Golden Gophers.
So anyway, thanks, Chosen One, for being part of the show. Texting in. Walter Mellon says, I agree with Keon. The Jets signed old Brett Favre, too. So I believe it's Brett Favre.
This is just what they do. This is what they're like. They don't change.
Fish Tank, this is your reminder that Aaron Rodgers only has one Super Bowl. Thanks, Fish Tank.
14 years ago. We're coming up on the 2-decade anniversary of that Super Bowl.
So there's we're trying to help a texter. I don't know how to help her. She needs a texter nickname. Somebody, I guess, called her Salty Senorita,
which is not going to work. You just can't call somebody else salty and tell them that that's their nickname. That's how the rest of the world does nicknames. The Daily Blender doesn't do nicknames like that.
My last question to her was, is she a senora or a senorita? And I haven't heard back. But Kiss the Cook says, can she be Mrs. 800-85? 800-85? Is that something?
Is that the last 4 digits of her number? Or the last 4 digits of Kiss the Cook's number?
100-85?
I don't. Why? What does that mean, Kiss the Cook?
80,085? 80,000. Did I just say something nasty?
I don't think so. No. But What do you mean by that, man?
I don't know what Kiss the Cook is alluding to. I think I may have just said something nasty.
Well, if you did, I'm not aware of it. And I already know too much.
Big George, I have never heard of GA and wet AMD until that Henry Winkler commercial about his father-in-law lighting up the room. Now there is a Slow Rider spoof. I think it's Low Rider. Slow Rider spoof commercial for GA. Either I'm going crazy or GA is rampant. I think you're right, Big George. I think you're right. GA is spreading. And wet AMD. I'm pretty sure Moist One has wet AMD.
Let's not think about that. Let's not put that out there. No.
Just let that matriculate through your.
Rather not.
I would rather. Average Joe, is that true? 80085 spells something on a calculator. Kiss the Cook. He made me say something nasty.
He did. I only caught 10 in what you said. I didn't realize
80085.
Yeah. Now I know it. Kiss the Cook. Be ashamed of yourself.
He says it spells boobs on the calculator.
This is an actual person that is looking for a texter nickname, and you just asked if she could be called Mrs. Boobs. Kiss the Cook. We should put you in a corner with a very cone-shaped hat for you, man. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
I mean, thanks for stating the obvious, but nobody would ask her to have the name Mrs. Boobs.
Come on. We are actually better than that. We're not better than a lot of things. Many, many, many things are not beneath us. But that actually might be the one thing beneath us. I think.
Bat Flipper says, Splendor, senorita.
I mean, it doesn't have to just
Splendor?
Be senorita. I mean, there are more options out there, but to be fair, she has not given us a whole lot to work with.
She's a Diamondbacks, Suns, Cardinals fan. And let's see here. Pierre, can I ask Scott the King of Fantasy Football a question? Would you start Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams this week? Well,
Pierre, is he on the show? Pierre, have you been listening to the show? Have you heard the voice of Scott Engel today, Pierre?
Are you listening to a podcast, Pierre?
From Thursday, Pierre? Because
see, I figured it out. I think what's happening, Keon, is this. People go to our website at 1580thefanatic.com, and then they punch on our very handsome picture up at the top, and then they go to the podcasts, and they just hit play. And that plays last week's show. See what I mean?
But the thing is, it's Tuesday, which means you would have had to have clicked on the date on purpose. That wasn't yesterday.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And wasn't Saturday, because their show's Saturday, and wasn't just Friday, but Thursday. You would have had to go back 3 days worth of shows. What are you on, man? What are we doing? What are we doing?
Moist One says, if boobs are beneath me, I'm having a good day. Moist One, stop it. Just stop right now.
Absolutely losing control of this radio show. We just.
You might as well, Fourth Dimension, stop texting in calculator things.
Well, now that I know that that's on the table too, like the amount of things that I have to come into this show and mentally process, knowing, okay, this dirty joke could happen and I've got to phrase things this way. And
you go on ahead and preach.
I've got to talk around every issue just to make sure that there isn't a dirty joke coming back my way. I've got to do all of that stuff only now to have calculator jokes, dirty calculator jokes as a thing I now also have to think to avoid. It's just a lot. It's just a lot, man. Just a lot.
So the 8626 is back on the text line, says, I am a senorita, not married, not attached. I'm half Hispanic, half Irish. Oh, dear God. I like reading books, rollerblading, and watching sports. It's too bad Jeffrey's not here. He's the guy that can come up with some great names. And it's not boobs.
Come on.
Marauding Moose says Pierre's stuck in the upside down. Okay.
Okay.
888-368-1580. Bob Costas. Everybody knows Bob Costas, right? And it's synonymous for him to be calling baseball games. And Bob Costas was on the air the other day. And having worked in a production truck on live sports, I know how this thing works. You have a producer or more that are talking to talent. And so the producer hits in, and he's got an IFB, which is his earpiece that he has in. That's what those guys have in their ears. It's not to listen to themselves on headphones. It's to talk to the director and or the producer and get information as the broadcast is going on. So when Royals reliever Angel Zerpa was on the mound getting ready to throw a pitch, Costas seemed to be alerted that he had a promo read coming up for CNN, which he seemed to indicate had put him in a, quote, difficult spot. So I think he thought when he hits his talkback button up there, it kills his mic. That's what's supposed to happen. So Costas, I'm sure, thinking that he was hitting the talkback mic and talking to the producer, a CNN promo, Costas asked, seemingly unaware that he could be heard on the air. That puts me in a difficult spot, he said after breaking a brief silence. Nobody understands how that happened. Did he forget to press the mic? Did old age take over? I mean, Costas is, what is he, like it's 72 now? I think he's in his 70s. At least he's in his 60s. Anyway.
He's 72.
Okay, that's what I thought. 72. Which he still looks great, by the way.
He doesn't look 72 at all.
No,
I would not have guessed that on my own had you not said it.
But he's been catching fire from the X community. Oh, surprise, surprise, that he would be catching heat from all of the intelligent people on X. He's been catching heat from the people on X because of his sleepy delivery, quote unquote, and his criticism of people on X. Imagine that. He's getting criticism from people on X. Anyway, so that happened. That was kind of weird on the air. I was watching ESPN Sports Center one time, and they were supposed to go to commercial, and they came back from a package, and they came back to the desk, and I forget who it was, but it was one of the guys was sitting there, and he was just kind of leaning on the desk, looking forward, and then he kind of put his hands up like, I'm not supposed to do anything. He started saying that, and they cut it to a commercial. I'm not supposed to be doing anything here. I love when live TV goes bad, horribly bad.
Which there are so many ways where that can happen. Just a ton of different things.
So that happened. A promo for CNN. That puts me in a bad situation.
I can't even imagine what situation he'd be talking about.
Oh man, that's funny. Farewell and Godspeed to Louis Tiant, former Boston pitcher, who passed away today at the age of 83. Did you ever see Louis Tiant pitch?
No, I don't think so.
He would take the ball in his glove, and then he would rotate completely around. His foot's on the rubber. He would rotate all the way back. I don't know how he did this for so many years. He would face center field, his foot and knee not moving towards center field because he's on the rubber. So he's facing center field, and then his hands would come through, and he would throw the ball home. While he was back there, he would just kind of matriculate his shoulders around, and then his whole body would follow, and that's how he would deliver.
I'm looking it up right now. I have to see this.
And if somebody was on base, he would come set by taking his hands over his head and then shaking his hands all the way down almost to his belt. And then he would stop shaking to come set, and then he would deliver the ball. It was the craziest windup I've ever seen. Louis Tiant, former Boston Red Sox pitcher, passed away at 83. Former All-Star. He had won the ERA title a couple of times. Truly a friendly guy, loved his family. Did you see it? Did you look it up?
I looked it up, and the video is called Tiant's hesitation pitch irritates Pete Rose.
Oh yeah,
Pete's heated right now.
Oh yeah,
just genuinely upset.
And he could change the time on that hesitation. Oh yeah. He could change the time on it with no problems at all. We've got to take a break. You look it up during the break because it's probably one of the most coolest windups you'll see. Louis Tiant. And when we come back, we're going to take a look at some playoff baseball. There's another hurricane headed for the Florida coast. We'll talk about how that impacts the NFL and maybe NCAA, and how the NCAA has fined 2 schools after shenanigans this past weekend. We'll talk about that all around the corner here on the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Don't miss a minute of the action when Sun Devil football returns to Mountain America Stadium to take on Big 12 Conference rival Utah. Friday, October 11th at 7:30 p.m. in ASU's annual blackout game.
Levitt keeps the ball, takes off and runs to the left, to the 10, to the 5. Levitt dives for the end zone. Touchdown, Devils!
Get your ASU Utah tickets today by calling 480-727-0000 or go online to sundeviltickets.com.
After 3 years of legalized sports betting, something completely new is now live in Arizona. Dylan Cohen from Beat the Book here, and I'd like to introduce you to SportTrade. SportTrade is the first sports betting app that gives you the option to see the odds expressed as probabilities, and it's going to change in-game betting forever. If it's easier to understand 52% probability of winning versus minus 108 odds, SportTrade is your new home. With this percent odds feature, cashing out now makes much more sense. As the win probability changes, so does the value of your bet. Even if you're an experienced bettor and you prefer American odds, you'll love seeing odds closer to minus 106 versus the normal minus 110 offered just about everywhere else, coupled with near instant in-play betting. No more spinny wheels. Download SportTrade on your iPhone today to see the difference and beat the book. Use promo code 1580 to earn 10% cash back on every bet you place in your first week. Terms apply.
SportTrade is regulated by the Arizona Department of Gaming. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
Febreze. As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust new Febreze car vent clips, now with 3 times greater scent control, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with new Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing, which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs.
Picking up, Oscar!
In most countries of the world, Porte means door. United Porte Custom Doors, located in the Scottsdale Airport Design District, is now open with over 40,000 European doors, all in stock, ready for delivery, and at wholesale prices. Designers, contractors, builders, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Porte, Porte. Stop by to see and feel the quality at United Porte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Ken Barkley here, reminding you to check out You Better You Bet. Why, you ask? Well, because we bring the fun, the insight, and all the wagertainment you need. Plus, hopefully, we win a couple bets along the way. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come with them, obviously. Plus, betting analysis from some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. Join myself and Nick Costos and tune into You Better You Bet. Weekdays from noon to 3 on Arizona's sports betting station 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Welcome back to the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. It's Taco Tuesday. We are without Jeffrey O'Brien and will be for the rest of the week and probably into next week. He will be back after that, though. 888-368-1580 is your way to connect to the show. Be part of the fourth dimension. We have a lot going on here. Keon, did you get a chance to? Did you get a chance to look up that hesitation pitch?
I did.
What do you think of that?
It's nothing like anything I've ever seen in my life. That is
Louis
a one
Tiant.
of a kind.
Yeah.
One of a
oh
kind.
Man, he was fun to watch pitch too. He was fun. And you're right. Pete Rose hated it. I forgot all about that.
Oh yeah, no, like this video is maybe 2 minutes long, and it's just cut together from the 75 World Series, and Pete Rose is on the verge of losing his mind.
Do you see how he kind of rotates around though on just his on his foot? Kind of weird. He looks at center field and he delivers home.
And it's accurate every time.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is
Yeah.
the part that I think is crazy.
Oh man, and he has that cool Fu Manchu looking mustache. He was a big. If you don't know who Louis Tiant was, he was a big Cuban born pitcher, and he had this big Fu Manchu, man. And oh my goodness, he was a great pitcher. I mean, his shenanigans on the pitching mound were legendary. I mean, he would flat blow it by guys. Or he would frustrate them so bad they wouldn't be able to stand up there and figure him out. Two ERA titles. He had like a 196, I think, and a 140 something. I have to look it up. Something like that. I know they were just over 1.5 or something. ERA. 3-time All-Star. Louis Tiant. Have a good trip. Is it just me, CK says, or is John Darling really annoying? Well, I mean, it depends on who. I mean, it depends on if you like his style or not. I mean, there are people that don't like me. There are people that don't like Jeffrey. You know, I mean, there are people that don't like me and Jeffrey, but like Keon. There are people that don't like Keon and like Jeffrey and I. So.
It's all taste.
It just kind of depends.
It's all subjective.
Yeah. The 8626 says, is Jeffrey out for the rest of the year? Has he been placed on the IR? No, he's not on the IR.
Just on vacation.
She goes on to say, and I hope you're listening, Kiss de Cook. Very childish for the texters to be sending in calculator dirty words. Who are these guys? 10 years old?
I mean, you're not that far off, to be honest.
Kiss the Cook says, Gaelic miss.
Oh, okay. Now we might have something there.
Raul, Sun Devil Raul says, or is this Raul the Devil? Is it Sun Devil Raul or No, Kiss the Cook again says Irish and Hispanic and then 3 hearts. Oh, this is CK. Sorry. Gaelic miss. Here goes my text line again. Oh, man. Suns Pistons. Who takes it tonight? We'll talk about it in a minute.
It's the preseason. Who cares?
Exactly.
It's like, well, we'll see what the box score looks like. And the Sun starters are probably not going to play very much. We'll see for how many minutes they played. Did they look sharp? Did they look good? That's the only stuff you care about.
Let's see here. The moist one says spicy potato. Sauced miss. Really, Bad Flipper?
I'm just disappointed in a lot of people today.
That was Pickle D. Sorry. Bad Flipper says, Diamond card.
Diamond card. What? Why? If you don't mind, sharing the thought process behind that.
Arrowhead of the class says, I have great respect for Bob Costas. He is the voice of the Olympics for me. But I do have to say that the commentating for the ALDS has been pretty dull. Well, I mean, I get what you're saying. But it's kind of baseball. There's only so much you can do.
And you can always do too much in baseball. That's the thing too. Like, you see those broadcasters that are trying to, I don't know, make every play sound like the last at bat of the World Series, and you can't. That sounds worse to me personally.
All right, Bad Flipper giving me clarity on Diamond card. He says Diamondbacks and Cardinals. She likes the Diamondbacks and Cardinals, so Diamond Card. How about the Queen of Hearts?
Interesting. We're getting some good ones rolling in here eventually, slowly but surely. Because I know the fourth dimension can do better than whatever we were doing last hour.
It's okay. So, all right. CK says, no, it's Gaelic Senorita, not Miss. Well, but your last text said Miss. Are you changing it now? Sun Devil Raul says, you guys are so correct. It is so weird. I even know of some people that don't like me. Crazy, huh? I know, right?
I learned a very valuable lesson early in my life that's helped me a lot. My dad taught me that everyone is not for everybody. You're just not going to be liked by everybody you come across, and that you're just gonna have to be okay with that.
Yeah,
you're just gonna have to be okay with that.
Have you been watching, Keon, any of the baseball playoffs?
Yeah, I have.
Did you get to see the Dodgers Padres last game? Game 2?
I missed that one, but I did hear about the fans throwing garbage out onto the field and all of that stuff.
So I'll just give you a quick summary. The Padres and Dodgers, Chavez Ravine. Dodgers lead the series 1-0. Padres come in. The game is going along. And the left fielder, what's his name? I can't remember his name right now. He robs a home run right out of the grasp of a fan. He takes it and then he just kind of like hops back with his glove, and he's just kind of hopping as he goes backwards. And the fan just kind of points at him like, it was a good catch. Well, I don't know what was happening after that. I don't know if they were the Dodger fans were getting chippy out there. I don't know what was going on, but he was out there and kind of mouthing back at fans. And then, of course, Dredge gets up, Fernando Tatis Jr., and he hits a home run. And then he just kind of does his thing around the bases. And then he's going at it with fans out there. Fernando Tatis Jr. is such a cool character anyway. He doesn't get rattled by anything. But he was in right field, and the fans were kind of chipping at him, and he was just kind of waving them off and that sort of thing, kind of like whatever. And he waved his hand. Well, that's when everything started happening, when stuff started coming on the field. So there was about a 10-minute delay, so the fans could be told by Dodger stadiums to knock it off, and they had to clean up the debris. There were bottles that were being thrown and trash. And Jurickson Profar was almost hit by a baseball in left field. So they had a meeting, and it turned into this big dramatic thing. And so then there was this meeting in the dugout with Manny Machado. He's kind of, I guess, the team captain, and he urged his teammates to let's play ball, let's get fired up, and let's put one on the Dodgers here at their place. And it ends up being a 10-2 victory by the Padres as they go back to San Diego. Well, now the coaches are like, hey, everybody needs to be cool here, man. We can't be doing this type of thing. And so San Diego has been warned. You guys stay classy. Don't do anything stupid. Stay classy, San Diego. And so because the San Diego fans are going to be, this is a rivalry. They're going to be, Mike Schilt said it, this is going to be an electrifying atmosphere in San Diego. And I believe it. I believe the San Diego fans are going to come out en masse and they're going to make some noise. We just don't want this thing to get ugly. Come to find out that a ball was thrown in Davy Roberts' direction by Manny Machado sometime earlier I don't know if it was during the game or in pregame or something. He threw it at Davy Roberts. It hit the netting in front of him. He threw it with some intention and some force. It didn't hit him, and apparently some of the guys took exception to that. And so then when Machado, when Fernando came up to bat, Fernando Tatis Jr., well, one of the Dodger pitchers plunked him. And then he had something to say to him as he went down to first base. Manny Machado came up, and this pitcher struck him out. And then he was John all the way back to the dugout, to tell him to go sit down and, take a seat, in so many words, most of them not proper for air. And so, it just kind of escalated into this base brawl incident where, it turned into a very mouthy, chippy game. And so they're afraid that this thing's going to get out of hand in San Diego or potentially back in Dodger Stadium should they need to have a game, game 5 back in Dodger Stadium. So we'll have to wait and see. Jack Flaherty was the pitcher. Manny Machado and Jack Flaherty were chirping at each other, and it was really something to see on the TV. It was a good game, and the Padres did get pretty fired up, and they did take command of that game like right now. I mean, they just put it on them, and the Dodgers just didn't dig out of it. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens tonight when the Dodgers and the Padres meet in San Diego for Game 3.
I mean, I'm excited for it. I like rivalries. I like when rivalries meet in the playoffs the best. That is by far one of my favorite things in baseball because it happens a lot. You got two teams that play each other all year. They already don't like each other. The animosity's just been building. We know the Dodgers and the Padres don't like each other. They could play that game in it could be a meaningless preseason game that they play in Tokyo. It wouldn't matter. They hate each other. Yeah. And that makes me happy. I like watching that on TV. Also, just a random aside, the Mets are putting the hurt on the Phillies right now. Top of the 8th, 6-0 Mets.
Wow, those Mets. Wow. I would have never thought the Mets were going to be playing deep into the playoffs.
Me neither.
Wow. All right, we'll talk about that series. We'll talk about the ALDS around the corner as well, because there's many things to talk about. Before we move on, it is the Tuesday edition of the Daily Blender here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
It's fall football on the Fanatic. Catch all the live game play-by-play. Monday night, Thursday night, and Sunday day and night NFL games. Plus the Saturday NCAA football game of the week. It's all right here on the Valley's home for football. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
Now open in Scottsdale. It's United Forte Custom Door Showroom with 40,000 Euro doors and hundreds of state-of-the-art designs and finishes on display, plus kitchen cabinets, bathroom vanities, and more, all at wholesale prices. Builders, contractors, designers, and yes, you. Come see our showroom on Greenway Hayden Loop. That's United Forte, P-O-R-T-E. Stop by to see and feel the quality. United Forte Custom Doors. Find us at uporte.com. That's uporte.com.
It's fall football season, and Kasai Japanese Steakhouse is doubling down, now with 2 Valley locations. When it comes to Asian cuisine, no one does it better and more authentic than Kasai, where talented Teppan chefs create the food, the fire, and the fun of teppanyaki. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse isn't just dinner, it's dinnertainment. A memorable dining experience where a delicious 7-course meal is prepared right at your table with flair. It's a perfect choice for celebrations, date nights, or a night on the town. Choose from over 30 different items and combinations of teppanyaki, Asian fusion, and innovative sushi. Happy hour is always on fire and offered daily with specials on their Asian-inspired comfort food like Korean steak tacos, Mongolian barbecue ribs, and signature Wagyu beef sliders. Always a memorable dinner, or catch the game and a bite at the bar at Kasai. Now the 2 locations, Scottsdale Road in Thunderbird, and in Peoria at the 101 in Northern. Go to KasaiTeppan.com. That's KASAI Teppan.com, or search Kasai on your mobile phone. Hey guys, Jeffrey O'Brien here. Did you know Harman Solar has gone super high tech? There's an amazing tool at harmansolar.com that'll give you an instant ballpark solar estimate using satellites from space. You just type in a little information, and within seconds, you'll have an idea of just how little money it takes to save big on that monthly electric bill. I did it, and within seconds, they measured my roof and calculated my savings. It's very impressive. Go to harmansolar.com and give it a try yourself. That's harmansolar.com.
1580 The Fanatic. And at 1580thefanatic.com. Your home for sports.
Welcome back to the Daily Blender, 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic. Raven Kid, I'm sorry, CK is on the text line. I think your translator is still on. God, I hope so. We have two translators in 93.3, or I'm sorry, 99.3.
I think he meant your translator on the text line, and that's why he sent you Senorita, and it translated it to Miss.
Could be. But he sent it again. I said, no, it's Gaelic Senorita, not Miss. Then he says, I think your translator is still on. Hello, testing. 1, 2, 3.
No, different kind of translator, but
Raven Kid. Speaking of Bob Costas, dude sounded legitimately upset when Giancarlo grounded into a double play late. Hate when national commentators play favorites. Amen. And he's a Yankees fan since way back.
Yeah, I think you can. It's not. I don't think he's playing favorites there. That's just if you grow up with that, you can try to be as neutral as humanly possible. But it's not until you're sitting in that chair and you're calling the game for your team and you're trying to be impartial that you realize, no, there's still some feelings in there. It still annoys you to see them do badly.
Let's see. Pickle D says, I think your translator is still on, and it's translating Spanish. Mine was sauced senorita, not miss. Well, what about saucy senorita?
If you want to be known as saucy.
I don't know if she wants to be known as saucy. It doesn't really, it doesn't include, the Irish part of her heritage. That Flipper says, rolling in diamonds. Queen of Diamonds.
As a Diamondbacks fan, that's a pretty cool one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a cool one. I like that one, actually. I think that might be my favorite.
Yeah, you're right, Moist One. Except for motorcycles, that rattled Tatis pretty good. Yes, it's true. Big George says, for the record, that's his lawyer talk again.
Mm-hmm.
He's a lawyer, you know. For the record, so I guess our transcriptionist needs to start typing, right? For the record, I will be going to tomorrow's Game 4 of the NLDS between the Dodgers and Padres. I will most definitely be cheering for the Padres. Beat L.A. Okay.
Best of luck to you.
I hope you're not sitting in front of people. I hope you chose seats in the last row, next to a walk area where the people behind you, Big George, can see over you.
If I were Big George and I were a lawyer and I had enough money to get good seats, I'm blocking the view of like 20 people.
Really?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll just be inconsiderate. I want to get the good seats, and the fact that I'm 7 feet tall, I apologize in advance.
I did not know that about you, Keon.
I hope that your tickets let you know that every seat behind me is an obstructed view. I hope it tells you that, because it is an obstructed view, and I'm sorry, but
sort of a jagged edge about you that I had never figured on.
It's a little selfish, but I like having good seats at a
very
baseball
selfish.
game.
I wouldn't say little. I would say
it's okay.
enormously
It's
selfish.
quite selfish. I acknowledge it. I admit it. but like, how could I sacrifice so that other people can see? No, I'm sorry.
Hefty Lefty says, that's what I love about the first round of the NHL playoffs. It's always division matchups. So you have guys going balls to the wall the first period of the first game.
When the Caps and the Rangers just got into that fight, just in the first 5 minutes of game 2, just everybody dropped their gloves and started fighting.
Was it even 5 minutes? Or was
I
it
don't
like
even.
5
I think.
milliseconds?
I think they just dropped the puck and everybody was like, "All right, fight time." Went to a fight and a hockey game broke out a little bit later.
Yeah. 86-26. She's the one we're trying to help. I'm just a little disappointed in the texter nickname suggestions. I would have thought someone would have come up with a name like Spicy Shamrock or Latina Leprechaun.
Well, it seems like you've got it covered.
Well, there you go. The Spicy Shamrock or Latina Leprechaun. What the hell?
This whole time,
us clumsy idiots trying to come up with names for you.
We're crowdsourcing, trying to get a name for you. People are doing their absolute best. Seems like you have the whole thing covered.
I mean, come on. You got these clumsy jackals out here trying to give you great names, myself included.
You're sitting on 2 golden nicknames watching the puppets dance. Like, what are we doing here?
Spicy Shamrock or Latina Leprechaun. Right there. Pick one.
Those are glorious. Those are some of the best nicknames that anyone has ever come up with on their own on this text line. And you were just sitting on that waiting?
I mean, congratulations. I mean, just pick one of them.
You just had the silver bullet just in the gun the whole time.
Right there. Yeah. I mean, Fighting Wampa, Irish tequila. No, see, she's got Spicy Leprechaun or what was it? Spicy Shamrock. I don't even know what she had. They were Latina Leprechaun.
Come on. That's a great nickname. That's a fantastic nickname. And you're just sitting on that watching us do what exactly? I have no idea. Because we weren't doing it better than you.
AAA 368-1580. All right. So teams that I did not anticipate being in the playoffs this year. The Detroit Tigers are in the playoffs this year.
You're not alone.
And I have to tell you, I did not expect the Detroit Tigers to be in the playoffs. As a matter of fact, I didn't see this coming. Now, I know they were having a good season, and I know they were kind of streaking towards the end of the season. But last night they played game 2 of the ALDS, and it was a showdown, and it was a great pitching match. And the series is tied up again. The Tigers beat the Guardians 3-0, 3-0. Shut down that Guardians offense and completely shut them down. And the Detroit Tigers now have a game. So they're knotted at a couple of games, one game apiece. I mean, good night. Kerry Carpenter delivered the knockout punch.
I have the feeling that this postseason has only just begun to be as weird as as weird as it looks. I mean, like this could get crazier. Because I didn't see that, and when you look at that game 1 where the Guardians just kind of control it, it kind of looked like, all right, here comes the end of the Cinderella run for the Tigers. Never mind. Just kidding. Spoke too soon.
And then again last night, the Royals, the Royals defeated the Yankees. And the pitching staff for the Royals simply shut the Yankees down. Oh, by the way, Aaron Judge, I think he's 1 for like 15 or something.
Something horrific like that. It's
and that one wasn't a home run. It was like just a seeing eye hit through the infield. Like it snuck its way, throughout out of the infield into the outfield grass. Game 3 for the ALDS from the Royals and the Yankees slated for Wednesday night in Kansas City, Kauffman Stadium, which I think for its age is one of the most picturesque stadiums in the American League. With the waterfalls in the background, it's always been, to me, a favorite stadium to watch baseball in. And I'm going to hate to see them move away from there. But you can see the game tomorrow night beginning at 7 o'clock Eastern time on TBS or True TV or Max, whatever the hell Max is.
It's the HBO Max. It's the streaming service. But at least it's on regular TV also. So there's that.
So there's a lot of drama about to unfold in these Major League Baseball playoffs, and we will have to wait and see how it plays out. Let's go back to the text line, 888-368-1580, and see if our lady listener is back. She has chosen, ladies and gentlemen, she has chosen Latina Leprechaun is her choice. So I'm going to put that in right now.
It's a good texter nickname.
I don't know why she was sitting on that.
20 people jumping through hoops to try to figure out a texter nickname, and she had a good one already. She had 2 good ones already and had to choose.
How do you spell leprechaun?
Leprachaun, I think.
Let me triple check that.
Don't quote me on that. I don't actually use that word very often. Oh,
yeah.
I was off by a letter. Swap my A with an E after the R.
Leprechaun. Got it. Let me go back there. Everybody talk amongst themselves while I change this.
I Googled leprechaun to find the spelling of it. And I found out there's a bad horror series of movies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, oh, yeah.
You got Leprechaun, Leprechaun 2,
yeah.
Leprechaun 3, Leprechaun 4 in space, Leprechaun in the Hood.
Wow.
What even is this one? What? Oh, Leprechaun Back to the Hood, which is, I don't even know how to feel about that one. And then Leprechaun Origins. And then you got 2018's Leprechaun Returns. They're still making Leprechaun movies.
Dude, they are riding that horse until it falls over and dies.
I mean,
That's
the
what
first
they're
one
doing.
is from 1993. They're still making Leprechaun movies.
Fish Tank says, I have to keep looking in 2 places to make sure it's Fish Tank because my text line has been lying to me. Fish Tank says, I asked a few days ago, how many teams that got a bye are going to get bounced in their first round? I still say 3 or 4 don't advance.
And Ralph disagreed with you when you asked that question. But honestly, the further we go in this, the more it's looking like there may be something to what you're saying, Fish Tank.
Well, I mean, the Phillies better do something. Clearly, that was the class I was thinking was the class of the National League. And I did not discount the Padres. I felt like the Padres have had a strong team all year long. It's been built to compete in the West, compete against the Dodgers. And that's exactly what they've done. They have built a team that can compete with the Dodgers. The thing that makes me laugh is the amount of money the Dodgers have spent to try to buy another championship. And I just don't think it's working. I don't think it's going to work.
If the Dodgers and the Yankees get bounced this round, you'll hear me laughing from Mesa, Arizona. You'll hear me.
Chosen One on the text line says you shouldn't be surprised by the Mets. They beat the Brewers in the first round. And based on history, they'll probably end up in the World Series.
The World
Yeah.
Series.
Right?
I don't know what it is. You beat the Brewers, that's your ticket. Don't know why.
Seems like that happened last year. All right, we've got so many more texts on the text line. I'm counting about 25 or 30 on it. I appreciate everybody checking in. We have finally figured out the name for the Latina Leprechaun. So that's taken care of. I can mark that off the list. And we got a whole lot more to talk about on the Daily Blender in hour number 3. Another hurricane headed for the Florida coast and how that's going to affect sports. We'll talk that right around the corner on the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
The Fanatic is your home for fall football. Catch the NFL and NCAA live games on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Brought to you by Bet365. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Mommy, want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with Dayquil VapoCool. It's Dayquil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is Dayquil VapoCool.
Dayquil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pegol is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Don't miss a minute of the action when Sun Devil football returns to Mountain America Stadium to take on Big 12 Conference rival Utah, Friday, October 11th at 7:30 p.m. in ASU's annual blackout game. Levitt keeps the ball, takes off and runs to the left, to the 10, to the 5. Levitt dives to the end zone. Touchdown, Devils! Get your ASU Utah tickets today by calling 480-727-0000 or go online to sundeviltickets.com.
We are getting ready to crown a champion.
Championship weekend is coming back to the desert.
Let's get this party started.
4 title races in 3 days means there will be a buzz in the air all weekend long. Whether from the grandstands, the infield experience, or the hillside, this is your chance to witness history and make championship caliber memories for the whole family. NASCAR Championship Weekend at Phoenix Raceway, November 8th through the 10th. Get your tickets now at phoenixraceway.com.
My name is Mary Grace. Early diagnosis is key, but make no mistake, it is a devastating disease.
For more information, contact us at alz.org or through the 24/7 helpline at 800-272-3900. Sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association.
KQFN Tempe. Also transmitting on K257CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM and K240 EU Mountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
It's time for the third hour.
Quiet, people, settle down because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
Welcome, everybody, to the third hour and final hour of the Daily Blender for this Taco Tuesday, October 8th, as we broadcast live from the Harmon Solar Studios, beautiful uptown Scottsdale. Right over there, the sexiest man at Sports Talk Radio, that's Keon Rose. My name is Randy White. Jeffrey O'Brien is out, and he's not off for the rest of the year. Somebody texted in earlier and said, is he out for the rest of the year? No, he'll be back. I think it's after the 17th. He's on a long trip. Let's just put it that way. He's on a long trip. You are the Fourth Dimension texting in at 888-368-1580. And we have covered a lot of ground, but we haven't covered as much as I wanted to so far today. But the big news, Robert Saleh is out as Jets head coach. He'll be replaced by Jeff Ulbrich, the defensive coordinator and now interim head coach of the Jets. The Patriots are making a move to put Drake May in the line of fire against Houston this week. Russ Wilson, apparently, according to the trainers, is over his it was a calf strain. Kept him out. Calf. It was a calf strain.
He may not get the job back, but like Justin Fields would have to implode to give Russ Wilson that job, and he just hasn't.
I've never been on a professional football team. I've never been on any professional, but I did play some non-pro baseball. And I remember I broke my finger one time. And I was a catcher, so I just kind of taped up my finger and kept playing. Took a couple of Tylenol and kept going. And then one time I was trying to turn a double into a single, and I ended up tearing my thigh muscle. So I wrapped it up and kept playing. Russ has been out 5 weeks.
Yeah. Well,
calf strain.
The stage he's in his career, you push that. That's how you wind up being Aaron Rodgers last year, Kirk Cousins last year.
Calf strain.
And right below that is your Achilles. I think that you take that and you're careful with it, because you're not trying to end your career trying to play regular season games.
All right. I mean, see, that's what I love about you, Keon. You give me the other side of it. You make me think outside the box. Because you know what I'm thinking right away is like, it's sort of like a candy ass statement to say my calf hurts and sit out 5 weeks.
Yeah, but a lot of it too is that they've got the best medical people. The trainers sit there and look at it and say, "Hey, look, if you push this, you could play and you could probably be okay. But if you push it, this is the worst case scenario." And then you have to, maybe talk it through with, the coaching staff and everybody else and say, is this worth this? Should I play through this? Because if the answer is it could cost you the rest of your career, because the mobility for Russell Wilson is more important for him than it is Kirk Cousins. Cousins can come back from the Achilles and be okay. Russell Wilson, the Achilles is gone. He's done.
Yeah. Maybe
it's just worth thinking about.
I'm thinking. So we've already talked about another hurricane that's headed for the Florida coast. It could impact a couple of games this weekend. Milton's arrival is expected to be on shore by, I think it's Saturday, or maybe Wednesday night. Sorry, Wednesday night or early Thursday. They're talking about moving games. USF, that's University of Southern Florida's game, versus Memphis, moved to Saturday. I think Tampa Bay is moving to the Superdome in New Orleans. Their game, I don't know who they're playing, but they're calling it Catastrophic Hurricane Milton, and it has strengthened to a Category 5 as it bears down on the Florida Panhandle. There are several other games that might be interrupted or have to be moved. Tampa Bay will leave early for New Orleans ahead of their matchup with the Saints this weekend. The team will leave on Tuesday, so that's today. They left today. Florida is set to take on Tennessee and Knoxville on Saturday, likely have to make a similar travel decision soon. Florida State and number 6 Miami have a bye week this weekend, so they can hunker down.
I think that the Buccaneers were already playing the Saints in the Superdome.
Yeah,
but their practice this week obviously cut short. They just went and decided to finish the week out in New Orleans, which smart move.
Cincinnati is at UCF, which is in Orlando, and then North Texas at FAU, which is in Boca Raton. Those games may face some sort of peril. The storm is just looking crazy. I mean, if you look at satellite imagery, the whole Gulf of Mexico is there's a little coastline from Texas and Louisiana that you can see. The rest of it is hurricane. This is a massive storm. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Keon.
Yeah, no, I was just saying it's unbelievable. It looks terrifying.
And boy, I hope it does not turn left and head up through the Carolinas and Tennessee. Boy, those people do not need any more rainfall. Whew. They're calling for a 12 to 15 foot storm surge from this hurricane.
They're saying if Milton stays on its course, it will be the most powerful hurricane to hit Tampa Bay in over 100 years.
Wow. The winds picked up from 85 to over 175 miles an hour in just a few hours. So like from Sunday night until Monday afternoon, it went from 85 miles an hour to up to over 175 miles an hour, where was the measured wind of this hurricane. Large and powerful is what they're calling it, and catastrophic. So if you are listening online and you're have to travel for some reason through Florida, through the Panhandle there, don't just stay away from there. Do a Zoom call or something, because this is bad news. Speaking of fines, the NCAA, who sometimes take forever to make a decision about something, have decided that Vanderbilt and Arkansas will be receiving both six-figure fines after fans storm the fields after an upset win. The SEC fined Vanderbilt $100,000 and Arkansas $250,000 after upset wins against top 5 opponents, Alabama and Tennessee, respectively.
Vanderbilt, I saw a picture from someone's apartment right down the middle of the street in Main Street in Nashville. The goalposts were moving down the street.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just stormed the field, took the goalpost, and the goalpost went bar hopping with everybody else.
Oh, yeah. Apparently, when they were done with it, they threw it in the river.
That sounds like Nashville. Or Nash Vegas, as they're sometimes called.
Well, I find it funny that the NCAA has moved so quickly on this.
Well, somebody else made the decision for them. The SEC,
I guess that's true. Yeah,
leveled the fine, so the NCAA just said, "Me too," and then they also fined them. So that's how we got here. They don't have any. They don't have any authority.
At least Vanderbilt is trying to be creative about raising some cash. In need of a little extra cash, Vandy has set up an auction selling mementos from the win. So they've got 4-inch pieces of the goalpost that cost about $1,005. 4-inch pieces of the goalpost. $1,005. You can get one of those.
And I know people in Nashville. I'm just telling you. Someone's buying that, and 10 years from now, he's going to be standing there going, "Yeah, no, I was there when we beat Alabama."
Yep.
That's happening. That is 100% happening.
8-inch pieces of the goalpost will cost you $4,035.
Like, might be the greatest moment in Vanderbilt football history.
As of Monday morning, both stockpiles of both the 4-inch pieces and the 8-inch pieces were sold out. They sold out in less than 12 hours. They're selling the pylons from the game. They're selling those for $1,000 each. And the game balls more than $4,000 a piece. A personalized game helmet, which had ballooned from $7,000 to $30,000 in a few hours on Monday morning. The auction will run through Thursday. There you go.
I don't miss Tennessee every day. But I wish I was there. I wish I could have seen that. I mean, that sounds like that had to be the biggest party in the entire southeast region of the world. You know, that had to be it. It was unbelievable.
Let's see here. Don't forget 888-368-1580. We'll get to some texts here. We got a ton of them stacking up here. I'll get to them in a second, but I want to talk some college football. For you, you're a Texas fan. For you, what do you think the game of the year is for you?
What's the game of the year?
The game of the year for you.
I don't know. That Alabama Georgia game was pretty nice. That game was good.
You're a Texas fan and you did not get this right. Texas versus Oklahoma on Saturday is the game of the year. Come on.
That's not the game of the year.
Come on. That's got to be the game of the year.
We are going to kick those guys' asses so hard.
See?
Their coach will be fired at halftime.
See?
This is not going to be the game of the year. I'm sorry if I may be an irrational fan right now. We're going to bury those guys.
ASU versus U of A is the game of the year for ASU fans. Texas, Oklahoma, that's got to be the game of the year.
I mean, when the game is good. But
when you can put a thump on those guys.
Oh, trust me, it'll be my favorite game of the year. But the game of the year to me is the best game that got played. Right. And I don't expect Oklahoma to hold up their side of the bargain as far as good football.
Well,
I've seen their quarterbacks.
Yeah, game got a little more dramatic. They got a Manning there at the Texas. Quinn Ewers is back. He's returning, and he's going to be taking on Oklahoma on Saturday, the annual Red River rivalry game. Ewers, who's been out for several weeks from an oblique injury that he suffered against UT San Antonio on the 14th, will be ready to go, he says. And Steve Sarkisian told reporter Monday at a news conference that he feels good about Ewers' chances to return to Saturday's game. This is Ewers' senior year, right?
Yeah.
He could have two broken legs and a broken arm. As long as he can throw the ball, he will face Oklahoma for his senior season. You would do anything as a senior to play this game, wouldn't you?
I'm sure he would. And I do think that Arch has been really good, but Arch hasn't been flawless. And I think that, you're going up against the Brent Venables defense. It's underachieved, but it is still a solid quality defense. I don't know if you want to roll out there with Arch in this game.
Well, Sarkisian said, I have no hesitation with Arch going in the game. I think he's proven to us over 2.5 games of football that he's really played in and competed in, that he can run our offense and he can be successful. So the Sark feels like he's got the best quarterback room in the entire world right now.
He's got 2 5-stars to choose from, and they both play well. They both play great when they're at the top of their game. So these are good problems. I honestly would be cool either way with either guy running out there. I just trust Quinn to do it a little bit more because he's got that experience. But man, this is gonna be a good game. This is when I talk the garbage. That Oklahoma is about to be baptized in fire.
So there's a graphic on this page. In the 2024-25 season so far, Quinn Ewers has 691 passing yards. His pass percentage is 73.4. He's thrown 8 touchdowns, and he has 2 picks and a quarterback rating of 175.2. Arch Manning has played 2.5 games. Ready? 900 passing yards. His completion percentage is 70.5, 9 touchdowns, 2 picks, and he has a quarterback rating of 200.4 in 2.5 games.
In 2.5 games, but I will say, Ewers actually had to go up against that Michigan defense where Arch has played half of UTSA, Louisiana Monroe, Mississippi State. The numbers are absurd, but the competition was slightly worse for Arch Manning. But they're video game numbers. They're silly numbers.
Yes, they're stupid numbers.
To be clear, I just want to put it in perspective because there are a couple of numbers that make it look like he's blowing Quinn out of the water. And they're actually much closer than it looks. That being said, it's silly how much production he's had. It's insane.
888-368-1580. Bullseye says, can I get a Boomer Sooner from my University of Oklahoma? I can't.
And not for me. Not this week. You might get a Boomer Sooner, consolation prize. If it's really bad and it's really ugly, I'll give you a pity Boomer Sooner next Monday.
Bullseye, I'll give you one. Boomer Sooner, Boomer Sooner, Boomer Sooner, Boomer Sooner.
Someone's going to have to because it's not happening Saturday. There will be no one singing that Saturday.
Hefty Lefty, what? What?
It's just funny how it caught you off guard. What does it say?
Well, he asked a question at 4:56.
Oh boy.
Would Back to the Hood be considered a Black Irish exploitation film?
It kind of would. Just looking at it, I looked at the cover of the movie. I have mixed feelings about this. It's one thing to have a blaxploitation film. An Irish blaxploitation film, I don't even know what to do there. Like, what are you supposed to do with that? I have no idea what anyone's supposed to do with that. And so I walked away from it. I have no explanations, only more questions.
Hefty Lefty also, he continues on and says, this hurricane has the potential to be the most expensive loss the country has ever seen from a hurricane. To put it in perspective, Katrina was 5th on that list. Estimates have Milton at double the insurance losses, around $100 billion.
Yikes.
And yet FEMA's out of money. However, I'm not going to say it. I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. Seabass says, just like Vanderbilt fans, the goalposts. Wait a minute. Let me. Hang on. Blue is attacking my water here. Blue, get out. Stay there. Seabass says, just like Vanderbilt fans and goalposts, I know some scary truck drivers who throw their what? Seabass.
This is a radio show, Seabass.
Can't do that.
This is a radio show. These are FCC airways.
Talking playoff baseball, Mr. Roboto says, mixed feelings about wanting the Phillies to lose to the Mets. Just before the playoffs, in a sea of ASU Cardinals and D-backs hats, I spied a lone older school $35 Brewers hat for $10 at TJ Maxx. Then me, Brew Crew fans, and especially all-time legend Bob Uecker got gut punched. Well, I don't quite understand, but okay. How much? Moist One says, how much do I have to pay to get the Lowrider song off the air? No, see, it's not Lowrider song. It's slow. Is it slower? Slow Rider?
Well, the commercial says it's Iservay, so I'm kidding. I would love nothing more than to have this removed from the air, but they paid money, so it's there. And I heard it this weekend many times as I was.
I bet you did.
Getting it in the computer. So no one is more traumatized by this song than me. I hate it in every way.
Having worked in music radio for years and years, I played that song.
The actual version of that song.
Yeah. I've played that song probably 87,000 times. That would be a good guess right there. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, more of your text on this date in Big George's sports history. And where in the hell did Jerry Jones land his helicopter again? It's all on the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Get insights into the sports betting market with VSiN's betting splits. See where the money is and keep updated on how the market is reacting. Only at VSIN.com. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
The two games in the American League Divisional Series, it'll be on Wednesday with both series tied up at 1. Detroit hosting Cleveland. The Tigers getting a run and a half minus 190 on the run line. Cleveland minus a run and a half plus 160 with the over-under of 7.5. On the money line, Detroit minus 105, Cleveland minus 115. Kansas City hosting the Yankees. That series also tied at 1. The Royals getting a run and a half minus 175. The Yankees minus a run and a half plus 145. On the money line, New York minus 115, the Royals minus 105, and the over-under is at 7.5. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Hey, sports fans, we've got exciting news. Beat the Book is now on daily from 2 to 3 p.m.
That's right. Just before the blender, we're going to explore the world of betting along with you on the text line.
Send us your betting comments and questions. Speaking of which, Dylan, what do you think if I throw down $20 on my Washington Commanders to win the Super Bowl? They're 120 to 1.
I don't know about that one, Keon.
You got a better idea, Mr. Beat the Book?
Of course I do. Just tune into The Fanatic. You've always got better ideas.
So join us for Beat the Book, now at 2 p.m. daily on The Fanatic. Brought to you by Sport Trade, a new app coming soon to Arizona.
It's better over here. If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has an exclusive rate plan just for you. Right now, get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, you can get one of the latest 5G phones free when you add a line. That's right, a free 5G phone. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. So why wait? At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Just go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 or visit your local store to make the switch.
AutoPay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Free phones up to $300 off with 24 monthly bill credits and qualifying new line for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling your entire account to continue remaining bill credits, and if you pay off device early. See details at T-Mobile.com.
Let's say you've got questions. You're looking into solar, but you don't know where to start. Well, Harmon Solar has the answers. Hi, I'm Jeffrey O'Brien, and listen, there's a couple of ways you can go here. 1, visit harmonsolar.com, browse around, because right across the page, they got links to all sorts of great information, like frequently asked questions, equipment, tax credits, even testimonials. Or just give them a call, 800-281-3189. Ask them directly. They'd love to hear from you. That's 800-281-3189. Or just go to harmonsolar.com.
Don't miss a minute of the action when Sun Devil football returns to Mountain America Stadium to take on Big 12 Conference rival Utah, Friday, October 11th at 7:30 p.m. in ASU's annual blackout game. Levitt keeps the ball, takes off and runs to the left, to the 10, to the 5. Levitt dives for the end zone. Touchdown Devils! Get your ASU Utah tickets today by calling 480-727-0000 or go online to sundeviltickets.com.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here, host of You Better You Bet, reminding you to check out the show. Now, why should you check out You Better You Bet? Because we bring you the most fun. We bring you the most insightful, the most entertaining show in the wagertainment world. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come alongside them. Plus, you'll get the best betting analysis anywhere from myself, Ken Barkley, and some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. So tune in weekdays, noon to 3 on Arizona sports betting station, 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
As we head on to 6 o'clock, this is segment 2 of the 5 o'clock hour of the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Kum says I'd exploit a leprechaun to keep it as a pet. Would you though? I don't. Would you want a leprechaun as a pet?
Yeah. First off, they're tricksters. Stuff in your house is always going to go missing.
Oh yeah.
Secondly, if there's a pot of gold, it will probably be directly in your house. Now, this seems good at first, but when you think about it, you might get to spend some of it, but that means that people will be following rainbows directly to your house at all times, every single day. I don't think that this is exactly something that you want. And I also think that if you trap a leprechaun and keep it as a pet, there might be some associated curse. I just think that you should stay away from that idea completely.
Speaking of leprechaun, Latina leprechaun's on the text line and says, those leprechaun movies were awful, very insulting to my heritage.
They were insulting to everyone.
I mean, I'm just thinking here.
I mean, Leprechaun Back to the Hood. That movie is offensive to many people. Lots of people, all at the same time.
Thank you, Fighting Wampa. We've already got a name for her. It's not Irish Tequila, and it's not Four Leaf Lantina. It is the Latina Leprechaun.
Though Irish Tequila is a good one. Latina Leprechaun is.
I wonder if you could do like some sort of, but it would taste like peat moss. Wouldn't have that nice sweet tequila taste.
Yeah.
See what I mean? Speaking of texter nicknames, King of Kittens comes up with a new texter nickname, Belly Growler.
I'm not opposed to it.
And we could probably put that on the list. Kiss the Cook back on the text line, apologizing for the 80085 suggestion. Irish Latina.
That's, and with all due respect, Kiss the Cook, that is a less interesting version of the one she came up with for herself. But appreciate it.
Thanks, Wave Dave. We have settled the mystery of the texter nickname, but here we go. Swave Dave, hi guys. How does Shamrock or Clover in Fuego sound? Keep that. Let's put a pin in that.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that.
That could be useful later.
Big George says if Rob Manfred may die of alcoholism if the Detroit Tigers and Kansas City Royals move on to the ALCS and the San Diego Padres move into the NLCS. I don't think so.
Which is going to make Rob Manfred drink more? The underdogs moving on so that he feels like he can't market it, and so he drinks out of sadness, or the Dodgers and the Yankees in the World Series, where obviously that makes so much money. Now he's just drinking because it basically markets itself.
I mean, last year's World Series I thought was quite entertaining. The Diamondbacks and Rangers.
It was very entertaining. But if you're just talking about the brand names, you know, Rob Manfred likes it easy because he doesn't like doing his job. So, you know.
Let's see. Oh, Cardinal Art. Those names are straight fire, in the words of you, Randy. Pour me up a cold brew. It's hot in here. Where are you at? Yeah, I mean,
because in here means something very different to everybody listening.
Yeah. Now, is this going to start something now to end the show today? Mr. Wilbur says, I would be happy to sit behind Big George at a sporting event. He won't block my view. Nobody does.
I mean, he did it to himself that time. They did it. Just let the record show Mr. Wilbur directed that at himself. Very cool of him to do, but it's not always the Daily Blender picking on Mr. Wilbur.
Let's see here. Pierre, my good friend Pierre is back on the text line. Randy, have you smoked any good cigars lately? I'm currently smoking an Oliva Serie V Melanio Toro. You know, as a matter of fact, this afternoon I did have a nice Oliva, but it was the O. And it was very nice. Connecticut wrapper, I believe. Very nice. All right, Pierre, I got to put your name in here. So we'll have to, oh my God, there's even more. Mr. Roboto, Lepra Quinceanera. What?
That's
a mixture of leprechaun and 16.
But
you know what a quinceanera is, right?
The birthday celebration. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I see what you're trying to do. But we're talking about an adult.
Let's see. Oh my goodness, Bat Flipper, Keon. Everything you said can be applied to women.
I said.
What did you say? They can be applied to women.
I have no idea. The things I said about the leprechaun. Yeah, if you capture a woman and keep her as a pet, that would absolutely be a crime. That does not apply to women at all. You should not do that. Any of the things that I said about leprechauns, that don't do that. I don't understand how those two things are associated at all. No, having a woman in your house doesn't mean that you'll have people coming to your house looking for a pot of gold at an end of a rainbow. No, none of those. Wait, hold on. None of those things applies to women. What are you talking about?
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Ringless Joe says, speaking of names, leave it to the Mormons to come up with extremely creative name like the Utah Hockey Club or for the relocated Coyotes. Is their name really the Utah Yetis, or was that just a rumor? No, it was a rumor. It's still just the Utah Hockey Club.
Boring, but all right.
Their uniforms are boring.
There's no accounting for taste.
Black and white. Their name is boring. And I don't really want to talk about it.
Their city is boring, to be honest. Beautiful, but boring.
Seabass says, I know some truck drivers that treat their women like leprechauns. Over.
I don't know what that means. And just further clarification, I don't want to.
Bat Flipper says, I got Keon to raise his voice. Yes.
It's not hard to do that, but all right. I'm glad you're happy.
All right. So this happened earlier this week. Jerry Jones surprised Dallas Cowboys at practice last Wednesday by landing his helicopter on the field the team was using to practice in preparation for their Sunday night football game. Here's the audio of him coming in on his helicopter in the middle of practice. That's Jerry Jones and his helicopter. The team is off to the side because nobody wants to get their heads chopped off by the rotor blades. Jerry's helicopter pilot just brings it up there right next to the building, just cozies it right up there. And then he gets out and he goes walking across the field, shaking everybody's hands.
Okay. Well, that's very Jerry Jones. His team looks terrible. They're 3-2. But sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
KJ Henry, who the Cowboys signed Monday off the Cincinnati Bengals practice squad after putting Pro Bowler DeMarcus Lawrence on the injured reserve, couldn't believe what he was seeing. He said, does this happen all the time? Yeah, probably.
DeMarcus Lawrence, Deron Bland, Micah Parsons. Like half your defense has gone down. You don't look good. You barely beat the Steelers, who can't score. And you're just interrupting practice with your helicopter.
Oh, hell, just line her up down there on the practice field. The boys will love to see me.
Just interrupting a practice with your entire flying machine. All right, cool. I wouldn't personally. I think your priorities are very much in the wrong place. The Detroit Lions are going to light you on fire on Sunday. But yeah, interrupt practice with your helicopter so you can show everybody that you're the Texas oil man who owns the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, just put her down there on the 20-yard line.
Guys need every second of practice they can get.
Oh, look at them all. My guys love me.
Did he have the pilot land directly on the star?
Yeah, no, he didn't. That would have been epic. That would have been legendary. Put her down on the 20.
The Detroit Lions are coming off of a bye week. Your entire defense is injured, but this is the priority here. The helicopter.
That's the only time we'll see the red zone the rest of the season. Just put the helicopter inside the 20.
Aiden Hutchinson's going to be wearing Dak Prescott like a hat, but he's putting the helicopter down in the middle of practice. I love it. It's great.
Somebody's got to get in the red zone. My team can't.
Just go ahead and just chalk you up for 500 right now.
Oh, man.
Just join the Eagles and the Giants somewhere down there.
Oh, boy. Jera, he knows how to make an entrance. 888-368-1580. So somebody early on the show asked about the playoffs and when do they start? When does that group of people that have nothing to do with football show up and start making up the standings? Well, I don't know when that starts, but with the season's playoff series expanding to 12, this is the projected standings right now. Yes,
it actually starts November 5th. I did look
November 5th. There you go.
Yeah.
November 5th. So this is projected right here. I got this off of Yahoo. Nick Bromberg is the author of this, and he's got it laid out like this: first round buys. Number 1, Texas, projected SEC champion. Number 2, Ohio State, projected Big Ten champion. Number 3, Miami, projected ACC champion. And number 4, Iowa State, projected Big 12 champion. All of those teams are undefeated presently, and all of those teams will be getting a first round bye right now. If the season were to end right now, those teams would have a bye. First round games: number 12, Boise, at number 5, Oregon. Number 11, Clemson, an at-large team. At number 6, Penn State, also an at-large team. Number 10, Ole Miss. At number 7, Georgia. Number 9, Tennessee. At number 8, Alabama.
Oh, that's an interesting game. Oh, my God.
That seems – I mean, all of these Boise State is playing some football against Oregon. Wow. I think that's a great game. I think the Tennessee-Alabama matchup is a good game.
Tennessee and Alabama are about to play each other in about 2 Saturdays. That's the biggest game on their calendar it's probably bigger for Tennessee than it is for Alabama, but it's becoming more important for Alabama as the days go on. To say that I'll get a second serving of that later in the year, yes, please sign me up for that. I want more of that.
It's funny to me that they have Miami, who are 6-0 right now. He has Miami projected to be an ACC champion. I don't know. Miami almost lost to Cal. Unless Miami had put back some sort of a comeback, Cal would have won that game. The UM was down 35-10 in the second half.
The issue with Miami, and the reason why I think they're probably right about Miami, is I've seen the rest of the ACC. It ain't great. And you can almost lose to Cal, and that can't possibly feel good. And Cal isn't playing their best ball right now. The rest of the ACC, it ain't great.
Well,
that includes Clemson.
That's sort of the layout as it stands right now. Things, of course, can always change with one loss here or one loss there, including Alabama. Good night. I didn't see Alabama losing a game, but they've nearly lost 2 games, and they were shocked by Vanderbilt. And they still have the bulk of their tough games to play.
Yeah, the meat of that SEC schedule is still to go. Same thing with Tennessee, by the way. They got tripped up by Arkansas, which I had a feeling about that one. That felt like, hey, this is a trap game. You guys might be looking to that 3rd Saturday in October, ready to face Alabama. And if you overlook Sam Pittman and the Arkansas Razorbacks, they're great in the trenches and they're desperate. That was a trap game scenario, and Tennessee fell directly into the trap. So we'll see how that goes. And of course, even teams like Georgia that we know are really good, they messed around and lost to Kentucky. So this is a very wide open year of college football, even without the 12 teams. But the 12 teams makes this a little bit crazier.
Yep, it sure does. And we'll have to watch this as it kind of plays out the rest of the season. Man, it's going to be fun to see how they lay this out. And if this committee that they put together can screw things really up, they always do every year.
Because that's the thing with adding more teams. People think that adding more teams to the playoff, now we'll get rid of a lot of that extra conflict of one team left standing out in the cold, and maybe they were worthy of being there, but something was different. This is not going to make it better. Now you have more teams that you can screw up, and the arguments are going to be dumber because now we're going to be talking about 1 loss, 2 loss, maybe even 3 loss teams standing outside looking in. This is not fixing anything.
Pickle D, it says Hutchison wearing Dak as a hat takes the term ass hat to a new level. Well, Can't disagree with you there. I mean,
I don't think Dak is an ass,
no,
but sure.
no.
Sure.
No. All right.
I just want to put that out there. I like Dak. I think he's a good dude.
Yeah. When we come back, he is a good dude. He's at least he's not a douchebag like some of these guys, but he shouldn't have been paid what he got paid. I'm sorry.
What other options do you have?
I understand.
It's just if you don't pay him, cool. But I hope that you're ready for Trey Lance to lead your team.
Wow. Anyway, all right. 888-368-1580. Got about 20 minutes left on this date in Big Georgia sports history right around the corner. Also, some NFL news and maybe a little wheel of sports. I don't know. We'll have to see what kind of time we have. Keep it locked here where it's at, folks. 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. This is the Daily Blender.
After 3 years of legalized sports betting, something completely new is now live in Arizona. Dylan Cohen from Beat the Book here, and I'd like to introduce you to SportTrade. SportTrade is the first sports betting app that gives you the option to see the odds expressed as probabilities, and it's going to change in-game betting forever. If it's easier to understand 52% probability of winning versus minus 108 odds, SportTrade is your new home. With this percent odds feature, cashing out now makes much more sense. As the win probability changes, so does the value of your bet. Even if you're an experienced bettor and you prefer American odds, you'll love seeing odds closer to minus 106 versus the normal minus 110 offered just about everywhere else, coupled with near instant in-play betting. No more spinny wheels. Download SportTrade on your iPhone today to see the difference and beat the book. Use promo code 1580 to earn 10% cash back on every bet you place in your first week. Terms apply.
SportTrade is regulated by the Arizona Department of Gaming. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
Paul's new drone startup just lost its most genius computer scientist.
We just lost our best genius to some new genius who's got a genius new idea. I'm going to have to find a new genius or two half geniuses and fast.
He needs a computer scientist that can keep his startup from falling down.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
My name is Mary Grace. There are a few misconceptions about Alzheimer's. It's not just memory loss. It's the loss of mobility, the risk of falling.
For more information, contact the Alzheimer's Association at alz.org. Sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association.
Championship weekend is coming back to the desert. 4 title races in 3 days means there will be a buzz in the air all weekend long. NASCAR Championship Weekend at Phoenix Raceway, November 8th through the 10th. Get your tickets now at phoenixraceway.com.
Your home for sports.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Welcome back to the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic on Taco Tuesday. Hope y'all are having tacos tonight. I love tacos. But I got to tell you, my wife made this soup. It's got, I forget the name of the soup, but it's got all these ingredients in it. And it's got this, it's not tortellini. What I think, it's got like these gnocchi things in there. It's not tortellini though. But oh my God. I had some before I went on the air today and I asked her, could we have this for dinner too? And she said, yes. So,
wow.
I'm like, heck yeah.
Look who's winning.
I mean, I'm living my best life. Yeah, Miss Kim working from home today, hooking me up with this special soup, man. Anyway, 888-368-1580, the final segment of the program, and got some NFL news to talk now. Looks like the Shane Steichen says that whenever this happens, whenever Anthony Richardson comes back, he's the starting quarterback, not Joe Flacco. Shane Steichen says Anthony Richardson will be the starting quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts, not Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco's our backup quarterback. Richardson was pick number 4 in the 2023 draft for a reason, but he's got to get healthy first. The Colts held him out against the Jacksonville, mindful that he could aggravate his injury if he played in harm's way during the regular season game. As soon as he's ready to go, Richardson will be back in the lineup. Just making sure that he feels really good with his body. Obviously, the medical staff, all those things, but going through that process, the rehab, the practice, making sure he feels ready to go. That was kind of a discombobulated sentence, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was
did
a little
Shane
bit of struggle.
Steichen did he have a stroke? I wonder. Anyway, the Colts also made other roster moves. They waived Dallas Flowers as cornerback as their quarterback plan continues to unravel. Boy, that secondary for the I thought the Cardinals were bad in the secondary, but man,
it's not great in Indy. It's not great. They're really struggling out there.
And I feel bad for my buddy too, because that's his team, and he's so upset about it. He doesn't even want to talk about it anymore.
Yeah,
he's just giving up.
You know, I liked Anthony Richardson when they drafted him, and part of me wonders now when I look back on it if their plan was to try and compete right away, maybe that wasn't the guy for them to take because he was a project, and I thought they seemed aware of the fact that he was a project, that it was going to take time for him to really become an NFL quarterback. And it was going to take a few years. And yeah, there were going to be growing pains there. And it was going to look ugly for many games because he was very raw, and expecting him to suddenly start seeing the game and start looking at the field and understanding where to go with the football. I don't know what about modern NFL defenses led anyone to believe that was possible in just a couple of seasons for him. And then, of course, the fact that he missed a lot of time with injury hasn't helped. But you look at what some of these defenses do, it's incredibly complicated for a young quarterback to be dropped in there. And he had other stuff to work on, not just looking at seeing the field. He had stuff to work on with his footwork. It wasn't good when he came in the league. His mechanics were also kind of not good. Like the arm strength, the raw arm strength, and his desire to learn and the work that he put in is what got him drafted. But you got to give him that opportunity to learn. Otherwise, it's going to be another quarterback that some team throws in the trash. And then Justin Fields pops up and he's doing all right. Sam Darnold pops up and he's doing all right. Baker Mayfield pops up and he's doing all right. Are you catching the theme? Like, teams are drafting these guys, not spending the time to develop them. They get thrown aside. And it turns out if you'd waited a little bit longer, you might have had something.
Yeah. You know, I think to be honest, this is just my feel. I don't know this to be true, but I think they were trying to do the Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson thing, where they brought in an athlete who happens to be a quarterback who can throw the football. I think they were thinking that Anthony Richardson was going to be like a Lamar Jackson.
I agree with the mindset of that, because when a quarterback is mobile, while they're learning the game, while they're trying to get to that point where the game starts to slow down, they can always use their legs to save them. But the difference between Mahomes and Lamar there was they didn't start right away. Mahomes didn't start year one, and Lamar sat out basically half the season. He was a gadget player for the first half of his rookie year in Baltimore.
Right.
And then they moved on from Flacco and let Lamar take the reins. And even then they kept the training wheels on. They didn't really ask Lamar to do a whole lot of passing the football at that point. I think the Colts just threw Anthony Richardson out there. There was no training wheels period. There was no veteran for him to sit behind and learn. I think they should leave Flacco as the starter let Anthony Richardson sit and learn, because clearly the game's still moving too fast for him. And if they want him to work out, they've got to help him.
I think you're right. And the problem is he's just getting hurt over and over again.
Yeah, because he's going out there. He's looking at these defenses. And I mean, like, the modern NFL defensive coordinators are evil, evil people. They'll show you a cover 3 and it's a blitz. They'll show you a cover 2. You've got a guy in motion to maybe see if there's any man coverage. And no, it's still a coverage. It's still a zone. You're just not looking at anything that's real. You have no idea what you're looking at with the level of experience that Anthony Richardson has. It really sucks for the guy.
Screaming Goats on the text line at 888-368-1580 and says every Detroit sack should result in the celebration of them with their hands out spinning like Jerry's helicopter.
Yeah. I'd love to see it.
I could see that happening. Oh, boy.
Aiden Hutchinson's too nice. He wouldn't do it. We need someone else on that defensive line to get that done.
Every Detroit sack. Aiden Hutchinson doing helicopter hands. All right. So 888-368-1580. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, for a thing we call On This Date in Big George's Sports History.
Oh, I'm doing it.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
I don't know.
I saw you looking. On this date in Big George's sports history. There it is. Back in the year 1973, Pete Rose's hard slide into Bud Harrelson to break up a double play in Game 3 of the NLCS at Shea Stadium in New York City brought the Cincinnati Reds and Mets onto the field and precipitated a near riot. Fans pelted Rose with debris in left field until Mets players calmed them down to alleviate the risk of a forfeit. The New York Mets, managed by unflappable Yogi Berra, won 9-2 and took the NLCS in 5 games before losing to the mighty Oakland Athletics in 7 thrilling games in 1973 World Series. Back to you, Randy. I remember that game, and I say that very carefully because I'm afraid y'all are going to make fun of me for being old. But I remember that game. I remember
you've seen
that
a lot.
Slide. Yeah.
I
remember those the mighty Oakland A's, the swinging A's. I remember all those uniform matches. Everybody thought they were ugly. I thought they were great. I thought it was cool. They had the Kelly green. They had all Kelly green. Oh. They had these the all yellow, and they had the all whites, and then they would interchange them.
I'm a fan of that stuff. I like that. That sounds awesome.
And they had the high stirrups. That's the way I used to wear my stirrups. They were the high stirrups. What I did was because I was playing Little League at 73. I went and took my mom's best scissors and I cut my stirrups because the Little League stirrups were not that high, and I had to get those big high stirrups. And so I took some of my dad's underwear that had the elastic around it, and I cut it and I sewed it myself into the bottom of my stirrups, and then those babies were nice and high. Oh,
there you go. There
I
you
thought
go.
it was something, man.
You were ahead of the game.
I was. I had the high
everything.
stirrups.
There you
Everybody
go.
was like, "Hey, where'd you get those high stirrups?" Made them myself.
Made them. Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, I remember that. Thanks, Big George. Looking forward to reading that again tomorrow. Do we have time for one spin of the wheel of sports?
30 seconds before the music.
Okay. Well, you're drunk when this happens. According to the Metro, which is out of the UK, a drunk man picked a fight with a python in the street, and it ended just the way you would expect. The drunk man was on his way home from a pub and lost in this fight to this python in epic fashion. And I'm looking at a picture of it right here.
It looks like the python's got him in an arm bar.
Oh, yeah. It's got him in an arm bar. And it looks like his hand is turning or is that his face? One of them.
It's
something
unclear, to be honest.
Something is turning blue. They were able to get him loose from the 6 foot 6 inch long snake and release it again. But I guess he won't do that again, will he? Remember,
lesson
gang,
learned.
if you are drunk and you're walking home, do not, I repeat, do not pick a fight with a python. You'll lose every time.
I would say any large reptile just to be safe.
Yeah.
Pythons in particular, though.
All right, everybody. Thanks for being along with us. We'll see you tomorrow at 3 o'clock on the Daily Blender on